Okay, we are live. So, welcome everybody to the 1879 actual play. I am Brad Decker. I'm the line developer of 1879, and I will let everybody go ahead and do the introductions while I get the posts made.
I'm going to go first for once. I'm Andi. I'm useless, but also the GM, so necessary. Everybody else?
Andi really isn't as useless as she says she is. Anyways, I am Chris. I have done some writing for 1879, and I am playing Weymont, a mage.
I'm Michelle. I'm Michelle, and I play August, and I'm an elf who is an investigator.
I'm Joel. I'm one of the 1879 writers. I'm playing Morgana, who is an elven aristocrat.
And our other friend is not here, and due to her work schedule, is going to be kind of hit or miss for a while. That's okay. She'll be missed, though. So, who wants to recap? Because unfortunately, life, the universe, and 14 other things. So it's been a little bit, and supposedly just kidnapping all of you and putting you on trial is not what I'm supposed to do.
Also, we should probably say Brad is playing. He's the 1879 line developer, and he's playing Nigel, who is a Galvanic mage.
Shh, we're ignoring Brad.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that memo.
He's a problem child. No, we love Brad.
Why are we ignoring Brad?
Because he's one of the people who doesn't want me to just kidnap you all and put you on trial. Terrible.
Let's not ignore Brad anymore.
Whose side are you on?
The not kidnapped one.
Well, then you
Hey,
should.
no, I never said we can't. We could go do the trial thing. Just there's enough legal precedence that we can get out of it.
You act as if if this were to happen, fake creatures were sensible enough that your precedent mattered to them. That's amazingly cute. And also naive.
Well, I mean, we're not the working poor class.
Yes, small fey creatures who are not necessarily light, cheerful little creatures don't care about your money either.
Oh, the fey creatures. I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, yeah, no. What was going to put you on trial was the fey creatures. Yeah.
Well, then there's just word games to play.
Yeah, no, that actually is a huge thing, is the word game. And I think that some of you would get a huge kick out of that. By the way, just so you know, I know that some of you see Don's drawing, but if not, I will show it to you. This is the actual images I sent to Don for what the little fake creatures kind of look like. Brad saw them way early because he can see what I'm doing when I'm playing with the evil computer machine overlords who can't count and can't do things like, did you know that a tail that happens to have a barb, a poison venomous barb, I don't remember the exact phrase, venomous barb? Okay, whatever, is not on the creature's nose. You'll see in the second picture where it's on like the nose. Why the AI thinks the tail is on the nose, I don't know. However,
it does look weird.
It does look weird. So the first one is closer to correct. The second one is a little bit more personified, expression-wise, more human-looking in the face, which is sort of also correct. But the first one's actually probably the most correct. Then there's Dawn's. And you remember talking about tying over and crossover things, Brad, between the two lines?
Mm-hmm.
See the fourth picture?
Yep.
That is a quick sketch from James, who you may have heard rumors, like some other lines we've been talking about trying to do a bestiary for a bit. So since the one that that Don did could possibly end up in one of your bestiaries, this one could end up in mine. Tie-overs. Now, only if somebody listened to this will they catch on that they should even look for such a thing. Teach them to listen to our stuff. Because Don's is too, I think Don's is not scary enough and too dignified.
Well, they don't have the art showing on the stream. If you're fine with it, I can switch that over.
You can show it if you want to. I don't care.
Let's see.
Again, it'll teach them to start looking at our stuff. But for those of you guys playing, go back to that very first picture. Think of a horde of those kidnapping and putting you on trial.
I'll scroll up. So, yeah, so this was what the AI came up with. And the other one, with the thing coming out the nose. This is what Don came up with.
Because AI is stupid.
And this is what...
That's James's quick sketch.
This is the quick sketch, yes.
Because I was like, can you do really, truly creepy? Like, I want people to look at it and be like, oh, I do not want to see that in the middle of the night. Because, like, I love Don's art, but I don't know that, I don't know, like, I don't know if he's creepy enough for me.
Don has a style, and...
He does. And I love it for 1879.
Well, and every artist has a style.
Yeah, it's very unique. I don't know if it's a style I like massively, but it's very nice.
I like it for 1879. I really do. And I think that Don has come a long way with his art. Have you seen some of the stuff he's done for Aether Stream?
I don't think so.
You should look. He's come a long way, I think, with this art.
I don't know that Chris has access to see all that.
We'll have to show it to you sometime. But I really do. It's just the one thing I don't know that I feel like he does really, like, and again, style, right, is like truly gory, creepy. And I want, you saw the first picture. If you woke up to those things surrounding your bed, tying you up and dragging you out, that would creep your stuff out, right?
And the rest.
Yep.
And again, if we had gone that way, which while I was very, very high on Benadryl would have been hilarious, I thought.
Oh, here. Well, but I have to go back and show these again because we got a chat post from Yero who also did some writing for us. So here, I'll switch.
Hi.
I'll switch back over, and we can show you what we did with evolutions of art. So, Andi had a creepy critter that she was trying to make. So, this was first attempt with AI. This was second attempt. Going weird with the tail from the nose.
But why there's a tail? Like, why AI? This is like, AI, could you give it back its arm? Nope. Okay. AI, can I have a 3-story building? Oh, you can't count to 3. Okay, good. Good to know.
I know some tricks where I could probably have gotten it to work, but this is what Don came up with.
Brad is better.
And then this
which is not
James's
a bad.
quick sketch.
It's not, and then that's James's quick sketch, yeah. Which, like, he did that in like 30 seconds, I swear. Like, it was fast. But he was just like, yes, I think I can do creepy. And I'm like, now I'm really, I kind of want to see some creep factor coming from James. So, hey, hint. One of the things,
if he's doing Earth on stuff, you kind of need that because there's literal horrors in the game.
True.
Yeah. And wouldn't it be cool if we did another horrors book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the appropriate reaction.
Two of those books.
So in case somebody out there is listening, one of the reasons that I actually like Earth Dawn is that it has that horror factor to it. And I honestly think at times that people don't play with it as much as they ought to.
Oh, I love it too, but just no, you don't need another horrors book.
Look, yes, we do.
Sure you do. That book was fantastic. That's why I have 2 of them.
They are awesome and fantastic, and I want to see another one. So But yes, there's things like,
I don't want
like
pictures.
that little creature there, which wouldn't be a horse, so it'd have to go into a bestiary. And what's interesting is that in the Earthdawn setting, I don't know that anyone will mention the F-A. Are you spelling it F-A-E? Or F-E-Y?
Yes. Yeah, I go
F-A-E.
I go FAE for Fae
Okay, so
in
do I.
1879, but I address that in the game, but we talk about it because there's a whole bunch of people who argue about the different phrases and and spellings and that sort of thing, and because of their whole thing deal with names, why
Yeah.
would they give you their real name? So they tell everybody a different way to say it. So now they're all arguing
Right.
about it, and no one has power over them.
Right. And that's a group name, not a individual name. But no, I think we even played with some of that in this game.
Except
Hey,
possibly for the people
tell
who
me your
pronounce it
name. And they're like, oh
F-A-E.
gosh, I'm not that dumb.
Yes, except for possibly for the people who pronounce it F-A-E, which it is, because that is the true and correct way to pronounce that.
Is it now?
Oh,
Is it
yes.
now? Those
Yes.
fighting words. Fighting words.
But this is the point. They don't want anyone to have power over it, so they give everybody different stuff.
So, but in Earthdawn, it would never be even mentioned FAE about it. But I thought it would be interesting to see if anybody ever picked up, if we got to put it in one of the books, and notice that it's in both books. Somewhere, both lines. Somewhere. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, we got a bunch of stuff that we can put in both books and see, both lines and see what people pick up.
I know. I'm really looking forward to that. So, but as far as where we were, the last I recall, and you guys can correct me, is you killed some poor Fey woman.
Nothing poor about that Fey woman.
Hey, she was making another woman, cook people.
Well, so from what you guys could tell and what your research had led you to was that she liked to, especially for women, but would help men, enact revenge. And it seems like the revenge could have been something that had been long gone and cold, and she would re-stir this up, usually ending in murder, of which she usually seems to be taking blood from, which was some confusion, and I'm not sure if you guys ever had a really good answer on why. I know why. You guys just don't. Why blood would always be missing from the things. Because she's hungry. That's actually a lot of it. So you guys were trying to get the kids out. Oh, wait. No, this is after. That was before the kids. Then you guys had the kids. And you managed to stop the bad people on the level and get the kids out that were there. And you found out some names of some people in, well, for lack of better terminology, I guess, child trafficking. Because unfortunately, in London area, there was a problem with youth running the streets and then orphans and stuff like that, and being forced into jobs. Sometimes forced into it just because they needed the money, and sometimes forced into it because that's literally just the term, forced into it. Like,
Because somebody else needed the money.
because somebody else needed the money and they didn't want to risk themselves. And apparently, street children, nobody goes looking for. A lot of times. Sometimes they do, but London, maybe you guys can tell me, because I remember the city's huge, even back in this time period. And you started to see social services popping up and becoming more and more of a thing. This is also where you start getting laws about, hey, you can't put children in coal mines, except for you guys didn't have that. We have that, but same time period.
Yeah. Population of London in 1881, 3,800,000.
Right. That is
And
half,
a bit of spare change.
that is about half of the population of the state I live in currently. So, I mean, thinking about how huge London is in general, but especially in this time period. This is, yes, the Wild West time period, but we're not talking about podunk West city where there's 100 people. 3 million people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
Population of the UK at that time period is about 34 million, so it's a sizable proportion of the UK's population. And
It's a tenth.
It's a
About a
tenth.
tenth
Pretty
of it.
much. It's about pretty much what it is these days as well. So that's something to stay consistent.
Well, I think that it's somewhat because of just the size of the UK. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at the US, we were constantly growing for a long period of time, and we have a much bigger area of land.
I mean, we have states larger than the UK.
Exactly.
Like
I mean,
multiple states larger than the UK.
Texas is as big, if not bigger than Europe. I mean, it's up there. And
It's bigger than France.
Alaska is huge. I don't think people realize how big Alaska is. Like, Alaska competes up there with Texas for size. Like, it's enormous.
I
There's
think
just not a very
Alaska's,
big population.
Alaska's bigger than Texas, I believe, but it's
Yeah.
Alaska's silly big.
Yes, it's much smaller population, but bigger.
Yeah. Well, Alaska's larger than Texas, but it doesn't look like it from the. Just
Way
when you
maps
kind of
are
look at the shape, just because a lot of that is islands, because it's got that
Yeah, oh, there's a
archipelago
ton
that
of
comes
islands.
off, whereas Texas is all one big mass. Because it's inland.
And when you start looking at just how big the U.S. is, then it becomes, there's some portions, but yes, London in the game's time period is half of the current population of the state I live in. It's huge. It's massive. Now, I do remember, so you guys had done that. So you had some options to look into farther with that if you wanted to. There was some other stuff that has happened, like there was this guy named Henry who apparently likes to take people over and make them do stuff that they don't want to do. Who did not manage to stay arrested. He managed to walk right on out. Some guards lost their jobs over this. Probably not totally their fault.
So what you're trying to say is the guy that could make other people do anything he wanted them to do walked out of jail. No.
Are you shocked? I didn't think so.
You can't
However,
see it, but this is my shocked face.
is it? I can tell that about you.
Shock Pikachu.
So, and I believe Morgana wanted to look into helping Sarah, which Sarah was the one that got arrested with Henry, and unlike Henry, doesn't seem to have any cool magical powers to let her walk out of prison. Correct, Lady Morgana?
That is correct, yes.
Now, do you want to role play that out, or do you want to kind of recap scene it so that you have the information, but we don't take as long? I don't know.
I am happy to recap scene it because it is probably something Morgana is pursuing in between main cases, as it were.
Awesome.
But
So,
you're the GM.
the general recap, and I would like some sort of. Can you tell if someone's lying to you? Do you have anything that will help you with that?
I have empathic sense as a skill.
Perfect. I would like you to roll that because that will tell, and then I will give you intel.
And a
Not that
social
I'm saying he's
defense.
going to lie. I don't know
And
that
a
you'll
social
need
defense of
social
11.
defense. Okay. I don't know that you'll need it because she doesn't have, and she's kind of, let's see, she has no magic abilities. She doesn't have any cool special things. She's just a bloke, a female bloke. And at this point, she's kind of at the lowest that her life has ever been because she's looking at being hung. So what is your empathic sense?
It is a 10, just using the dice spot, because she has to use dice spot, because apparently you don't trust our dice or something.
Well, let's try without the dice box and we'll see. We can discuss that later. But if you want to try without the dice box today, that's fine. All right, so, because occasionally it doesn't like me either. But okay. So what you generally get is she was not coerced to the same type of level that, like, the people who he just totally just mind
Yeah.
blanked. She was coerced in the fact that she thought that he loved her, and she thought he was going to be there and take care of that part, which isn't so much coercion as stupid on her part. However, that said, she never went into this originally thinking that anyone was going to be hurt. Like, she actually thought that because he could do kind of these little mind games, that they wouldn't have to kill anybody. None of, and she wants you to believe that he coerced her, but he really didn't. She just made some poor choices.
Yeah.
However, she is very honest about the fact that she never wanted anyone to get hurt. And then after he killed some people, then she started to get a little nervous about whether she could back out of this. So how complicit she actually is muddied like a lot of things with humans.
Yeah.
He totally meant to rob. She was trying to be Bonnie and Clyde with that. Thought
Yeah.
it was, true love, stupidity. But she didn't actually expect anyone to get hurt, because if he can do this type of thing, why would anybody have to get hurt? Like, there's even less risk of anybody getting hurt. At least that's what she thought. And then after he was perfectly willing to kill people who didn't really need to be killed, she wasn't really sure how to get out of the mess that she had put herself in.
Yeah.
And she's fairly miserable at the fact that they want to hang her. So I don't know how much you want to help her. Because it's not so easy as, oh yeah, he totally just mind blanked her and she didn't know it was like Kate from with the Fey woman.
Yeah.
She's a much more sympathetic individual.
Yes.
By far.
Yeah.
Than Sarah.
Yeah, no.
So,
Morgana will do her best to get the charges mitigated if she can, but
not going to put herself on any major limb.
No, because she wanted to be sure of herself, because particularly if there was a chance she was being magically manipulated into her affections, she
After
deserves.
Everything that happened with Kate in the Fae, and seeing what that type of manipulation, because you saw what he could do, and then seeing the type of manipulation of emotion that like the Fae woman could do, I think that this is, totally get Morgana a cookie and give her some extra AP.
Yeah, she's definitely trying to help the woman as best she can, but if it was just bad choices, there's not a lot she can do.
Right. I think, and I'll make a couple of rolls and see, but I think that the best you're going to be able to do is that they take like the death penalty off.
Yeah, that's probably where she's aiming for. If she can, because to a great degree, she's more accessory than is the actual criminal.
She didn't kill anyone or force them to do things that would, she didn't do that part. But she also didn't turn him in, leave, quit going out with him,
I will try and get her to produce, as part of to provide some evidence to help show remorse and that she's trying to assist, get her to do some good descriptions of what he was doing with magic, so that the system has more details of this sort of thing, because it's clearly lacking.
When you go into some of that and get her to help with some of that, the one that died that River may have shot, that had the gun, that was doing the other woman, that one was definitely much more magically manipulated.
No.
So, but it is what it is at this point, right?
Yeah.
There are several sympathetic cases in that case. There is also an interesting one that you guys are going to get a case offer for here in a little bit, which may or may not get you out of going to Fae Court. And so I still think I should totally do that. But I still think it would have been funnier while I was on so much Benadryl. Totally put Alice in Wonderland that stuff on that much Benadryl. I'm just saying.
Well, time works different for the Fae. You could always bust it out later.
Oh, that's very true. But now you guys have time to think it through and be like, oh, damn it.
Oh,
However,
whose side are you on?
me? I'm on my side.
No, Brad.
Oh, no. Brad's on Brad's side.
I'm just going to say, Brad, we need to do an adventure which involves rescuing Lady Jennings from something like Wonderland because she'd hate it.
Honestly, that's not bad. As someone who now knows exactly who Lady Jennings is, I also will say that there was something about some possibly bumbling helpers that I thought would be cute and could have some fun with in certain things. Not that my opinion on that matters. All right. So you guys have had a little bit of downtime. That last case was a bit, and yes, the Knights of the Grail have been heavily involved with that sense. They do give you guys some general information. They're still investigating, so they won't tell you everything, but I think you guys had already caught on that somehow she was trying to force Kate to do stuff that was tainting the fat rendering.
Yeah.
To cause a much more widespread crazy revenge issue. And whereas they don't know that they got everything back, Kate has been as helpful as Kate can as far as where she generally delivered to. She doesn't actually remember a lot of things. Her memory's very holy because of being manipulated, right?
No,
And you
kinda
guys
to
saw
be
that in her
expected.
pattern that, yeah. But she has been trying to help as much as she can, and they've actually managed to retrieve a lot of it. However, you also notice that in the following couple of weeks, while you guys were on downtime, that there were more revenge type things, assaults, murders, things like that than usual. They tried very hard to get as much out as they could. They couldn't get all of it, but this could have been much nastier if you guys hadn't intervened and managed to get most of this stopped. So it's one of those where nothing in life is perfect, but if you guys hadn't done what you did, that could have been a whole bigger problem. So the Knights of the Grail are super happy with you guys. It's good to have friends in high places. You got to talk to Sarah. Anybody else? I know that there's been some training and stuff, I'm sure, that has happened. Anything else that anybody does that I should particularly know about and note?
I've increased a
Okay.
bunch of ranks on some abilities, so just so you don't get surprised if I start getting higher die rolls.
That's okay.
But even without my D8s liking me. Because I know you don't like my D8s.
Well, your D8s are dickheads. I don't know what to tell you.
They
How
just
okay,
like
so
me.
Spicy.
Does everyone have the information that they would have wanted as far as the universe and what's been going on?
Oh yeah, seems fine.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So the next case you guys are offered is that
What-
Miss Price asks you back. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What date in game are we on? Because we were last on the Saturday, the 23rd of April, 1881.
I'm assuming with all the training that I know some of you took that it's probably been at least 2 weeks of downtime and to a certain degree a little bit of cleanup with helping the Grail and Kate and all of that. Is 2 weeks reasonable? Am I missing it for training?
No,
Is
I
that
think that's
okay,
about right.
guys? Okay. Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. So yeah, it's 2 weeks later, so add 2 weeks to that number.
So that would
Okay.
be what? Saturday,
The 37th of April.
The 37th?
Thir-
Yes. The 37th. Wait. So we're into May. Does anybody have the thing up? Because I don't have it up because I'm in my bedroom keeping my overachieving stud muffin separated.
So we would
Who
be
showed
on
up
the
with him now.
7th of May then.
Yeah, that sounds correct. Okay. So you guys will get a message from Price hoping that you guys are in good spirits, as she very specifically was like, maybe you guys keep getting really rough things. Maybe take some downtime. But she's trying to be very gentle about are you guys feeling okay? Are you ready to come back to work? To which my guess is the answer was, well, yes. Let's go do work stuff and get our heads out of our own heads.
Yeah, because I'll have healed up because I got shot.
Yeah, you would
A
have
lot.
healed up because you have access to money and doctors.
What?
Yeah, I told you about the time that I play tested one of the ones I was going to do for 1879 for convention, and they shot the kid, and then we're surprised that like no one was going to fix this kid, and I'm like, if you don't have money, who's paying for the doctor? There's no socialized healthcare in anywhere right now.
Yeah.
And it's not the shot that kills you. Most people actually don't die from being shot. You die from things like the infection. That's what we die of. However, you, lucky you, have even some magical healing types running loose that might be able to help, or a potion, and some doctors, because I bet you your sort of not spouse, Lady Morgana might have you healed. She seems fond of you.
I think she gave a healing potion over at one point, and then
She did.
yeah.
She seems fond of you. And that lovely landlord that you had is still very interested in when you're going to make her a, auntie adopted grandma. Yeah, somehow I got moved to that, and you probably are very confused on how that happened, but
Yes.
I'll let Morgana deal with that.
That is a
that sounds like a
Rubicon which
Morgana problem, huh?
Yeah.
that is a Rubicon. We are not yet ready to cross in all sorts of ways.
You're just sitting there like, you know what? I'd rather get shot again.
Yep.
Oh, dude. She writes you like at least one letter a week asking how you two are. And with babies coming. Like, it's worse than your actual grandmothers are. I'm just saying.
I mean, seriously, your character is the meat shield at this point. You've been punched and blinded and shot in the chest, but no, we're gonna throw Morgana as the one to grab that bullet.
Yeah, she could deal with the social side of it and talking to people. I will quite happily get shot, slapped, whatever. It's fine. I've only got 2 recovery tests.
August,
It's
right?
fine.
August, wait, I can get shot or I can talk about making babies. Let's just go get shot. That seems
I'll
like
still get shot, absolutely. Hands down, anytime.
I love it. I love your characters.
I'm not entirely sure Morgana is averse to practicing the process of making babies, but the actual making babies, not so much.
Well, there
leave
are
me
ways
out of this.
to practice. Even in this time period, there are ways to make it practice.
But
And
she's
I
slightly of the
just
opinion that what
Yeah, she just
I was
needs to
gonna
ask her brother about that.
she
I was going to say, I
she's read
suspect
books.
that with women moving into the workforce in 1879 like they are, that you will find that there are more interesting and better ways to prevent and be able to plan such events.
That is not even just theoretical. That is canon. That is in the player's guide. It's in the player's guide. There is a book which I'm just hunting for that gets mentioned somewhere in there.
I thought I remembered, but sometimes I don't always remember everything. But
Yeah,
if you look,
there is a book that was banned in the real world that actually existed, that has not been banned about women controlling their own fertility.
If you look at women's move into the workforce, one of the things that helps that makes that pathway is their ability to control that.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes perfectly viable sense. And yes, I would totally think that that is an option. That is an off-screen option. So, I'm going to guess you guys are all okay with going back to see Miss Price at the office.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So Miss Price being Miss Price, once you guys are there, she shortly brings out the tea, some biscuits and that type of thing. And she says, "Do you guys remember the first case kind of that you were on with the young lady who had wandered off from her family?"
Oh, yes.
And you guys had mentioned that there was some group that was claiming to have an island that was going to be controlled by Boojum?
Yes.
I think
feel about
River
doing a
still
bit
has
of
the
travel?
pamphlet.
River still has the pamphlet, yes. Exactly. How do you feel about doing a little bit of traveling?
Traveling? You mean to this island?
I do in fact mean to that island. That's about the time that, her and that, manila file start to, pop out. She always has one of those when you guys are around.
Well, I'm not opposed to
So,
traveling, but what's the case?
well, and she pulls out a picture of a young orc man. And when I mean young, I mean young. When I mean man, I mean barely. From the picture, it's hard to tell because you know how that goes. He's somewhere between 16 and 20, just from looking at the picture. She will tell you that he's 17. His name is Edward. And he was talking about going and his disappeared. His parents firmly believe that he has gone off on one of these boats. They tried to talk him out of it. He did not want to be talked out of it. And they would like you to retrieve him and bring him home. The general, as far as the parents, and you guys can go and interview the parents, is that they are basically, you guys are told to try to keep the expense count low because they can't afford a huge expense account. They're very middle class, almost to lower middle class. So they don't have the type of fundage that some of your other clients have had. But they're afraid they've lost their son. And they are basically putting everything they have at your disposal to bring back their son, who they believe, and I think in this time period, legally he can make this choice. But they don't believe that he's making the right choice or the smart choice. They want you to find him and bring him home.
Because, rightfully so, they think it's dodgy as.
They think it's dodgy as fuck, and that their son is young and impressionable, and again, he would have just gone through Looking Glass Fever, Brad, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3, something like that.
About 3.
Yeah, it would have been about 3.
And they said, when you talk to them, and even what Price can tell you, because they were very upfront with her, is he didn't take it well.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he was 14. That is a very hormonal, emotional time period without adding this.
Yeah.
And they honestly believe that this is dodgy as fuck, and that
Andy,
their
you
son
too.
is in danger. Oh, right, you too. Never mind. That this is dodgy as heck, and they're very worried about him. So Price wants to know because, like I said, I'm pretty sure in this time period, a 17-year-old can legally make his own choice. They would prefer if you could just talk him down and out of this, but since he's already left, they are sort of asking for you to bring him back no matter what. Just, Now, of course, they would like it if you just explain to him that he doesn't need to go that far away or whatever. But Price wants to know if this is a case she'd be willing to at least attempt. She does understand if you are not willing to go to the point of we put him in a bag and drug him back. But at least make the attempt to talk him out of it and to come home. What do you say?
I think a
little
lot of it.
concerned. Go on.
No, you go.
I'm just a little concerned about how we would get back.
Oh, now Miss Price says that part's easy. She says that because of the earlier case and because of the upper bosses, they'd be willing to hire a boat that's at your disposal that will take you to the island and take you away from the island. And that boat isn't going to ask any questions. Not that she's saying that you should go to that level, but if you're worried about how to, get him off the island, that can be handled. Matter of fact, most of you could go on a regular boat out there and they can just hire a boat to bring you back. Because, wait.
I didn't think we knew.
Elf. Aren't you guys all basically elves?
Well, I'm the only
Nigel.
human.
Except for Brad. Except for Brad. Brad is the only one that will look weird out there. They do make prosthetics so that you could fake being an elf.
Do we know where the actual island is?
Yes. Or at least they're pretty sure. Because there was some looking into it when you guys first talked about stuff, because it's something that they felt like somebody should be keeping an eye on. So it's in the Caribbean. It's off of Florida. So it's one of the islands down there. The easy thing to find out where it is would be to send you guys on one of their boats, which they think could be done relatively easily.
Well, I mean, River was all for going. So.
So we would have. So we're talking probably a couple of weeks then traveling.
Yeah. I mean, probably the fastest way to travel would be to airship from London to the US. Possibly find something going as south that way as they can. And then traveling by boat. The last bit. And that can be arranged. Now, it won't be like fancy first class travel, but. And then, like I said, they can easily, bring you back on a boat that won't ask any questions. That would be a couple weeks back. You could probably be out there in a week or so if they did the air travel for the first major jump of it. Unless Brad or anyone wants to tell me I am wrong with how fast airship travel goes. But I figure if it would be about 2 weeks by boat, maybe 3. If you did airship to the US as far south as you could take it, and then a regular boat the rest of the way, I think you're looking at more like a week and a half versus 2 to 3 weeks on the way back. on a charter.
Honestly, we'd probably be faster if we took a ship or airship to the northern reaches, like around New York or something, because that would be a closer port, and then took trains going south. We'd have to cross the border between the Union and the Confederacy and navigate those social challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But the train travel is going to be a lot faster than, at least
Than a boat.
for getting down to Florida, and then we obviously would have to take a boat from there.
Okay.
But train travel would probably be faster than either of the ship options if we're looking for speed.
Yeah. So you guys can airship to New York. That's a pretty common port of entry. Then take trains down south and then boat the last little bit. And then if you can get them to come with, you can do the reverse back. If you can't and then choose to shove them in a bag, they'll charter a boat for you to come back on. A boat that doesn't ask questions.
Reasonable.
And again, they're not saying you have to do that. They're just saying that if you choose to, and of course the parents are more than happy to talk to you guys. So, sounds like something you guys are willing to take.
Yeah, I'm just doing some checking here. Looking like, from the best that I can see, crossing the Atlantic took about 15 days, but I think that would have been, I don't know if that would have been going to New York. So we're probably looking, and that's a little bit earlier. So yeah, we're probably looking about 2 weeks by ship, and then probably another week by train getting south, and then however long it takes for a boat to get to this island, figuring travel time. But to answer the question, yes, I'm willing to take the job.
With airship over to New York should vastly save us time.
I would think so. So, she's going to work on making sure that your airfare out there and travel tickets or all that are taken care of. You guys, if you want, can take some time and go, well, tell everybody that you're gone and not to worry about you, that type of stuff. Gather anything you need. Talk to the parents, whatever you need.
But
Yeah, but we need
telling
time to
people I'm
get.
going is, yeah, that's going to take so long.
We just have to get affairs in order, make sure your house rent is or wherever you're at is taken care of.
Yeah, that's about it.
Well, she doesn't want you to feel horrifyingly rushed, but they do want you to leave pretty soon. And she does know some of you have family and connections, and she wouldn't want you to just suddenly disappear where they wigged out.
Well, and it's
I
going to
mean,
take time to get passage for a ship booked anyway. So I mean, by the
yeah,
time
it's going to take a day or two for her to get the ship and things like that booked for you.
Mm-hmm.
Basically,
so, yeah, I think we can probably get
your
everything
travel
handled by then.
itinerary. Yeah. So with that, she's going to go do her job, which is make sure you guys have travel stuff taken care of.
Just for the reference, a Gifford from London to New York, or from England over to New York, Liverpool to New York, is quoted in the GM's companion as of 3 days.
That's fast.
And it looks like ocean liners are a little quicker, but given steam is more advanced, that makes sense because it's a very helpful page 10 of the GM's companion, has lots of stuff about international travel.
Oh, that's right. We did put that in there.
It looks like we're up until 1920s levels of speed and technology, but given, as said, we've got a much more advanced steam technology. That all seems to make sense to me.
So you guys could feasibly be there in a little over a week. Between air travel and steam travel and trains and planes and automobiles.
That sounds reasonable.
Because you still have to have boats. You can land travel a lot of this, but you still have to have a boat. Because there's no other real way to get to the island once you get to Florida. All right, so he's going to go and book you stuff.
Just to check, is Lanky his surname or a description?
Oh, that's his surname.
Both, right? Excellent.
And he's a snark. My apologies.
Snark, yeah.
Edward Lanky the snark. His parents are human, and they are Annie and John. They are as kind of middle average as you can kind of get.
Morgana will go and talk to the parents just to make sure they're on the level.
Yep. Anybody else going with to talk to the parents?
Yeah,
I'll
I
go
mean,
too.
I think we all probably should go just to at least know kind of what we're in for with him.
What
Yeah.
Brad said.
All right. This machine hates me. All right. So yes, he is lanky. He's got that 17-year-old thin, hasn't filled out. He's about 5'11". So he's tall. But not anywhere crazy tall since he's a snark. Everybody's going to meet the parents? Yes, no, maybe?
Yep.
I think so.
Yep.
Okay. When you get there, John answers the door, lets you guys in. He basically takes you kind of into the kitchen and starts making tea. It's very obvious that Annie's been crying probably off and on since he disappeared, when it went away. John is definitely like it's not the red puffy eyes he's been crying, but you can tell that he's, I don't know, concerned, worried, trying to stay strong for his wife, but he's exhausted and he looks it. Very, very nice. Are you going to start, Morgana?
Yes, Morgana will make pleasantries, reassure
Again,
them.
we'll put Morgana in front of that bullet.
Morgana, the social bullet. Okay.
And assure them that we will make sure that their son is okay. Bring him back.
So Annie seems like, and just honest here, Annie seems like if he had gone anywhere, she would be kind of a bit. John seems much more worried about where he's gone. Like, John seems to think that this thing is as shady as heck. He's like, have you even heard of such a thing? You know, who's there? He doesn't know anybody there. You know, how do I know he's safe?
Morgana will agree because she has heard of this thing. She's had a little look into it and thinks it's shady as heck herself, but will be making sure that,
yes,
in the unlikely event that it is that our fears are misplaced and that it is a good place for him, well, we will make sure he is safe and in a good place and well set up. Because
So
there is a small chance this may be a good thing.
John is actually much more willing to be like, if it's actually on the up and up and it's a safe place and a good place for his son, then it is what it is. You know,
Yeah.
children grow up, they move out, right? They're supposed to, anyhow. I will tell you right now, the mom is a little harder to convince of that. She's not like ranting and raving like a loon or anything, but moms.
Morgana can sympathise. She will assure the mother that if there is anything dodgy, she will make sure her son is brought back. And if it is a good place for him, will remind him that a decent son writes regularly to his mother about what he's doing and all of that sort of thing.
You know, honestly, that's probably one of the most reassuring things you could say to a mom. Is I will make sure that he contacts you so that you know he's okay.
And yeah, remind him of his duty of doing it regularly.
Since we have a couple of UKers here, you will understand when I say things like, she very gently kind of pats your hand so that like it's not an over emotional, but for a stiff upper lip Brit, it's emotional enough.
Yeah.
The thank you is there. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. You guys are welcome to look at in his room. I'm assuming somebody does, because you guys are like that. You're very thorough.
I will
Yep,
go
I
and
will.
look in his room.
And if we didn't, River would.
Yeah. If you guys didn't, River would probably be looking through their medicine cabinets by now.
I don't know. I think
Seems
River's
like a River
probably
thing to
just
do.
packing bags to just not come back.
River might be packing bags
No,
to just not come back.
no, knowing how this was gonna go down last time.
Yeah, I can't stop River. You can't stop River. What are you? Not even trying here. All right. We have perception-y, awareness-y stuff going on for those of you who are searching around the house.
Yep, just posted that to the chat.
Okay. Awesome. So, anybody else before I tell Brad what he finds?
Just rolling.
Awesome. Okay.
Because I've no idea how to use the box, so.
I think I will let Nigel handle this one.
Okay. Nigel in August.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't remember the command for the bot either. That's why I just rolled the dice. I'm not the one who set it up.
So I've never used it, so I've not a clue how it works. 22
I'm sorry,
on the
we
awareness.
can go over that. I think you just type in like step and then whatever your step is. Brad, isn't that how it works?
I just said I don't know how it works. I didn't set it up.
We'll have to ask Joel when he comes back, because he's just nipped downstairs.
Dice. That's fine. Just use regular dice. I'll figure out how it works later. We may not use it if it's too much of a pain in the tush anyways.
Joel knows how to use it because he used it earlier, but he's just stepped away, so.
That's okay. Roll a regular dice and tell me your numbers.
So,
For
yeah,
August.
they should all be in the chat.
22. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Brad, what you notice is that it's a fairly normal 17-year-old boy, young man room. You also notice that he's obviously packed, which you expected. Like, they don't think he was, drug off in his sleep. It doesn't look like anything like that happened. It's very much this room, he's packed his clothes, he's packed his stuff. Nothing seems out of place. August, you find a hidey hole.
Cool.
Which Brad is not overly surprised about because that's not a completely uncommon thing for young people to do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, in the hidey hole, you find pamphlets, flyers for this thing for meetups. You find what you suspect was where he was keeping some money Like, it looks like that probably held money. It doesn't anymore.
Sure.
Yeah, you're not shocked. Like, nothing about this is actually out of place for what they've said. And nothing, you know what I mean? Like, they're not happy, but none of this is, oh, because he's secretly beating them or anything like that. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
Froggy, come here. Thank you, Froggy. So, but you do find the hidey hole, you do find the flyers. Just yet more evidence of seems like this is exactly where it is. Anybody have any questions or anything that they want to look for in specific that I should know about?
So I'm assuming he's packed all of his clothes and everything like that. He's not really left much behind.
No, the only clothes that you see from the description, you suspect are clothes that he's outgrown or are in bad shape. Because we all know that teenagers have that, let's be honest, they all have that holy shirt someplace. So it's either stuff that's in disrepair that he didn't take with, or it's stuff he's outgrown that he just hasn't gotten rid of because teenage boy.
Well, and Snark.
And Snark. So he's growing. So, like, the 5'11" for a Snark who's not done growing, I don't think is that out of place either. Because Snarks usually make it to well over 6 foot. I mean, they're not troll size, but they're definitely usually bigger. All right. Anything else?
And I suspect that he probably would have taken everything that was important to him.
Yeah, like, yes, absolutely. And it's kind of one of those, when you find the hidey hole and the only thing that's left there is the papers he no longer needs because he's already out the door. Yeah. 23 with, okay. That's an example roll. There you go. Woohoo. But yeah, so it's pretty much exactly what you expected it to be. All right. Anybody, anything else that I should know about?
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot else here.
Nope. All right. So with that, I guess you guys head to finish up any errands and head out to get on. Oh, evidence for anything you missed. It's a very good idea for August. There's really nothing you're missing. Not that this is making the parents happy, but everybody knows exactly what the hell has happened. Hades has happened. I don't know if that's a bad word on this.
That one I think
That's
you're
a
fine
good
with.
Morgana, I think that's a perfectly valid thing to do. Telling your mom you're going to be gone for probably 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, maybe not that long, but better to overestimate than under, I figure.
Morgana does write to her mother regularly, but her mother does get a very edited version of the adventures.
Ah, okay.
And certainly not a clue on how often of an evening Morgana goes out to drink and socialize, because that bit she really wouldn't approve of.
That's not acceptable lady behaviors. You're supposed to, like, be painting roses or something, practicing your pianoforte.
Popsicle.
Maybe some needlework. Have you considered needlework?
And don't let her know there's an old woman wanting you to make babies, because then she'll have an ally.
Yeah, no. Morgana needs one mother. They are never meeting.
I will be very honest with you. I do not feel, no offense, August, that Morgana's mother would approve of August and Morgana getting married, and she sure as heck is not going to approve of them having children outside of marriage. Just saying. No approval rating there. But yes, you would love an ally, Indy. When are you getting on that, Morgana? Make me some grandbabies. Okay. We're gonna give August a moment. August is having a technical difficulty. What about you, Chris's character, Wayland?
Weymont.
Weymont. Oh no. Why with your name? Weymont have anything he needs to do before he leaves?
Not really. He's gonna pack a bag, obviously, like with some
That's a good one.
clothes and things in it.
Clothes and things. Anything interesting?
Not just magical supplies if he needs any, that kind of thing. He's not particularly used to traveling this far.
No, this is a bit far.
Yeah, so
Um,
he'll pack what he thinks he might need.
River is going to pack some weaponry, but in this time period, that's perfectly fine. So it's not an issue. All right.
I'm
Morgana's going
going.
to pack some clothes suitable for warm weather.
Anything August needs to do other than pack a bag?
Pack a bag, make sure his rent's paid up for the next sum.
That is an important thing, because if your rent isn't there, they'll sell your stuff and rent it to somebody else.
Yeah.
They would.
I will pay a couple months' rent in advance.
That's a valid
just
plan.
in case. Because, you know.
Because they would totally sell
Yep.
your stuff and rent it to somebody else.
Yeah, they would.
All right.
Yeah, as I say,
Everybody
I'll
set?
take care of mine for probably about 3 months. I think that should give us plenty of extra.
Yeah, pay that up just in case we're not back.
And since we're going to be traveling for a little bit, I'd also like to try and find some sort of a bookshop, looking more for like a textbook shop. I want to see if I can pick up a like physician's manual or something like that, so I can try to work on that skill as we're traveling along.
Absolutely do that, and that's an absolutely wonderful way to use travel time. Hint for everybody else. It is. You're on the you can't do much. You're on a ship or a train or an airplane or whatever, right? That's an absolutely wonderful way to pick up a beginning level skill. So anybody else need to pick up a book?
Only if there's one on how to get better at forging things.
How about one how not to be shot?
But I will be
That's
honest
what
with you.
durability's for.
I'm just saying, there's probably a book on handwriting styles that would be valid for learning such things. They just don't write. Here's how to forge on it. Like,
Yeah, obviously, but yeah, something like that.
Styles and something or other. But yes,
I think
So,
a wise
yeah.
thing to do would be to pick up a book on elemental spirits. Since I can't talk to spirits, I just haven't seen any yet.
you are well aware of their existence, though.
Yes, they
You've
do
even made
exist.
somewhat enemies.
Mhm.
Morgana may catch up on a pile of trashy paperbacks.
Oh, well, I mean, that's important too. Bodice rippers. You need those.
Well, you know,
All right.
I think previous cases established she reads early vampire fiction, so which is distinctly.
Oh, there'd be a lot of that.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, Morgana is well aware that some of those myths may be less far-fetched than previously thought. Could be some bases for some of that. All right. Everybody's got what they need. Everybody's packed. Within probably by the second day or the morning of the third day, you guys would start out traveling. You basically show up and say, I'm so and so. I don't know that they have ID.
I think there are passports.
Do they have passports? But okay, so you have a passport probably, and basically your tickets are there and waiting for you under your names. You are
the earliest
economy
recorded
class?
British passport can be traced back to the reign of Henry V in
Oh, wow.
1414. But it was not
Well,
until
you-
1915 that the first modern style passports were first issued.
so you
Yes.
guys have an early-esque passport thing. As well as, you know, your cards that say you're with the company, and I'm sure there's some upfronted travel money for incidentals and that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But you are traveling economy, so no glorious staterooms or anything like that. It's more of a, oh, look, I'm in a bunk under 5 other bunks. No, not quite that bad. But they would have like 2 to 3 bunks high in the, so you can rest because it's a few days. The food is not great unless you pay extra. And then that's much better than, but still, you know, it's not, it's not 3-star restaurant type of thing.
They might get a star.
This is such an educational thing. You know, Brad, you should put some of that stuff up, like the UK British stuff and things. Like, it's kind of cool. We're such an educational group. I love that about us.
Gratuitous educational content.
Right? Isn't that fabulous to have at a gaming table?
As I've said it before. If it's not a real 1879 session, if you can look something up on the internet to check a historical fact.
Right? I love it though. All right. So you guys get to New York. There is a hotel booked for you. It's not the Ritz. I don't even know if the Ritz exists yet. You have a few hours that day before you get on the train the next morning. So you guys can do a few hours of exploring New York if you wish.
So what do we figure in the, what would that be, the 10th? Or no, because we had 2 days, so it would be on the 12th.
Yeah, you had 2 days. Yeah, the 12th.
Okay.
I will tell you that I made changes to New York because things are more, technology advanced more. So the Bronx Zoo, which technically I believe didn't exist until like 1903, I think 1905. I moved it up early.
I will
You
say.
may or may not have heard the Ritz London opened on the 24th, 1906. Yeah. So New York actually does have the Bronx Zoo. I will give you guys this without a roll. There is a lot of hubbub about the Bronx Zoo, especially in New York, but it would have possibly reached London. They had a lion that started acting strange about the time of the Looking Glass fever, and then it kind of shifted, and its face is more human, and it has wings. Then people were talking about that they could hear the lion, that like it was speaking to people in their heads. And then one day the lion just flew off, and they were all kind of wigged out, like, where did the lion go? But a few days later, the lion came back, but with jewelry.
Of course, as you
Okay.
do.
He could not have stayed at the Ritz anyhow, because apparently the Ritz did not open until May 24th in London, and New York, it didn't open until 1911. So you can't stay there anyhow because it doesn't exist yet. You are in a safe area, but not a high-end hotel. And like I said, there is a lot of talk about this possibly talking lioness who now has jewelry. And if you hadn't heard about it in London, even though it is a major story, you definitely would hear about it in New York, because it is the talk of the town right now. So there are lots of other things you can see in New York, or you can stay in your hotel. What do you guys want to do? You have a few hours. Well, you have all night if you don't like sleep.
I think Morgana will do a little bit of sightseeing.
Okay. Any place in particular?
She might go and visit
Weymont
this
will,
famed lion.
Weymont will happily go out sightseeing with Morgana just so she doesn't get any trouble.
Well, I mean, Morgana's not River.
No, but Morgana is a lady in New
Is
York.
which is not a safe place even in this time period. So, anybody else going with? Are you guys staying as a group?
Yes,
I
it's
will
a new
go
place.
with the group.
All right, so you guys are all going to the zoo. It's a nice zoo. It's a big zoo. It's a very new zoo. So it is very up to date for what they think animals need. Have you ever been to an older zoo and then gone to a much more modern zoo and there's a difference in how the animals' enclosures are?
Yeah.
This
You
is
mean one is a
very
box
up
and
to
one is
date
not?
for the time, okay? So there is a huge group. Love it. Love it, love it. There is a huge group of people actually out there right now around the lions. There's probably 30, 40 people pooled around the lion area. And you can see other lions and there's like 2 males that are kind of separated, and then they've got like 3 or 4 females, one of which has a much more human face and wings and has like is lounging on like the tallest rock, which you might have thought the male lion would do, but nope, she's up there.
So is
And
this
she seems
like
to be avidly looking at the crowd, like watching them. And it's just like, yes, sir.
it's like a
Chris?
sphinx?
Well, I'm not going to say that, but that's if you were into mythology, yes, this would look a heck of a lot like a sphinx.
I think it's safe to say both Morgana and Weymont are of high enough class. They probably studied classics at school, so
I would
Yes.
think so. But
you
yes,
know.
if you remember stories of sphinxes, that lion seems to have gone through looking glass fever and become a sphinx.
Be careful about answering riddles.
Speaking of which, Chris, you're Weymont.
Yes.
Yes, I got it right. Yeah, I got it right. Nigel, Weymont, you're 1. Nigel is 2. August is 3, and Lady Morgana is 4. I'm going to try to see if I can get that silly thing to work. Because, of course, this lioness that looks like a sphinx. And so let's see. Wait, how do we do this again? Do you have to put it in
You
brackets?
type in /roll, and it'll give you a list of options. Pick the /roll input, and then in triangular brackety things in between them, type in your step number to roll the dice you wanted to roll. So in that
that's
case,
complicated.
yeah.
I don't even know what. No. You'll have to talk me through it at some point when we're not in the middle of a game, Joel.
Yeah, I'll show you it. It's not too bad
Okay.
once you do it. It's just weirdly hard to explain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like me? I'm using a roll dice. Ha! 3.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yay, that's
Okay.
me.
You hair in your head.
Uh-oh.
Are you here to play?
Did anybody else just hear that?
Hear what?
Okay, just me then.
I'm going to say no.
He will say quietly to the group.
Well, are you? For the rest of you, because you're all watching this line, you swear she's smiling, mischievously glinting in her eye.
Is that line
Smiling.
looking in this direction?
It looks a lot like it's staring and smiling directly at August.
Uh-huh.
I did not come here to play, no.
Oh. But I would have answered your question if you answered mine.
Pop in an astral sight.
Oh. Well, in astral sight, things are a little weird.
Hang on, did it roll
That
here?
lion's pattern is definitely not like any of the other lion's patterns. That lion's pattern looks very magic-y. Magic-y is a way to describe a pattern, right?
Magic.
It's magic-y. The other lions
Very
look like
clearly
lion
magical.
patterns. That
Okay, I typed in the thing, but
Yes.
it didn't roll.
looks very magic-y. Have you tried smacking it?
Truly, it is a magical dice roller.
Yeah,
It
it's
is.
weird to use.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm just gonna be honest. All right, Brad, you can use regular dice if you want.
Yeah, it's just not going there. Okay.
Use regular dice. That thing hates me, like all electronic-y things.
That's a 10.
10? Yeah. That. And you've seen this before because it did happen that some creatures were different, much like some people were different. I don't know. Have you covered that in the books? I think you did. I think it is covered. Like, it's feasible to run into a unicorn now. That may have been a horse earlier. That is not a lion. The pattern
There's
is
the
not
aquatic
lion-like.
sheep.
Sorry?
There's the aquatic sheep. There's definitely awakened creatures.
Yes. So I'm going to say, Brad, that is, you are very, very aware that that is an awakened creature. It is not a lion pattern anymore. You can see some, like, almost as if a pattern laid on top of a pattern, which is maybe not the best description, but you can see some resemblance to a lion pattern in its pattern, but it's definitely an awakened, no longer a lion. So, back to August.
August will think, thank you for your kind offer, maybe some other time.
Tisk, tisk. And the dice says, all right, Chris.
Yep.
You hear in your head, did you come to play?
What?
It's your
Did
name.
you come to
As
play?
he just announces out loud for everybody.
Yeah, he just said that. What? I know, Gotti. It's hard.
Weymont will look around. I think it's talking to me. Are you talking to me?
I ask a question. If you get it right, you can ask a question and I'll answer it for you.
Kind of a
Do you wish
question.
to play?
Is that the question?
Do you wish? No. Do you wish to play?
What happens if I get the question wrong?
Then I'll answer yours.
I didn't hear a word of that.
Yeah, you were breaking
I'm
up
sorry.
there, Andy.
No. Sorry. Gotti was making a lot. He's also influenced by the Amor. However, he's a German Shepherd. She's a Papillon. No Amor. So, do you wish to play?
And what happens if I get the question wrong?
Nothing.
All right. Go on then.
If you multiply this number by any number, the answer will always be the same. What number is this?
Multiply this number by any other number, the answer will always be the same. 0?
Very good. What is your question?
I didn't really have a question. Where did you get all that jewelry?
When I woke up, it took a little bit because I didn't feel well. But then I felt better. And I remembered where I had put it when I last was.
Oh. That didn't answer my question, though.
Yes, I did.
I asked you where you got the jewelry. You just told me you remembered where you put it.
And that's where it was.
Where you put it before?
Yes.
So where was that?
Isn't that... I think you call it Egypt? Maybe. That's not what we called it.
That makes sense. Well, thanks.
You're very welcome. Now, does anybody, Nigel or Morgana, do you try to get the Sphinx's attention?
I'm not going to make the attempt to. I'm just, we'll stand here and watch and we'll see what happens. Because it's going to do what it wants.
Well, you can try to get its attention.
Morgana is not trying to get its attention. She's not looking away from it or anything, but she's definitely not trying to
So it has
catch its eye.
talked to 2 of you. How long do you hang out? Because the longer you're there, the more likely it will decide to talk to you. Just simple numbers. Do you guys stay a while or, okay, talk to 2 of you, you're done? That is definitely a Sphinx.
I said, I'm just kind of going with the group, so.
Is the group wanting to hang out for a while longer? Question.
I don't think so.
Yeah, not especially.
Okay.
It was always a bit weird when stuff talks in my head.
Okay. Well, maybe you guys had other questions and wanted to try to get answers. I'm trying to be a good person. Give you the chance.
No, that's fair.
Sorry,
That's
guys.
fair.
I didn't really have a question of any kind.
So you guys leave. Go have dinner someplace or lunch or whatever. What else do you guys want to do in New York?
Not get shot.
Or
What else?
mugged.
Oh, always a good plan.
Both.
What else is there
If
to
you guys
see in New
stay
York
together
anyway?
and stay in the more well-lit areas, you're probably fine. If you go out at night, that might be different. So
Yeah,
you
no,
guys
probably
go out at night, or do you just stay at the hotel and do a little bit of other touristy stuff until nighttime, and then just dinner at the hotel, done with it?
I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's pleasant enough. You went to the touristy type places. There's definitely, a police present. It's daylight. It's fair. You stay in a group. You're pretty safe. Go back to the hotel. It's a hotel. It's not the best night's rest because it's not your mattress, not your home, but it's not bad. You go to the train station the next day. Nothing major. You wait in line. You get your tickets. They're under your names. Pretty easy. You get onto the train. Nigel,
Yep.
you hear in your head, you didn't come back to play. But I noticed you watched me. Did you want to play?
This is at the train station?
Yeah. Perception, awareness, everybody else.
Perception, awareness.
That would be a 13.
Okay. 1. So, Morgana, you are busy struggling with some piece of luggage. You have no idea what else is going on. 10. Chris? Weymont?
I got 11.
11. So, you 3 notice, because it's not super hard, because a bunch of people are now staring as said Sphinx is on top of the building. And as you guys are trying to get your tickets onto the train, it seems to be staring down at your group. Not angrily, but definitely watching you. And other people are staring and pointing and whispering.
Lord.
Yes, pretty much. That would be the attitude. Oh, August is so sweet. August is
August's like, oh, hey,
not
there's a
dealing with
Sphinx.
that.
Wait, but there's a lady in trouble.
I'm going to have. See, I feel like it's more like the. Oh, I don't want to deal with that. I'm gonna
That's the one.
your luggage.
Andy gets it. Andy gets it.
See, I got more. I got you, August.
Yeah.
That's a note. That was a note. Nope. Gonna go
He
help
was
with the luggage.
polite. He was polite to the Sphinx.
He was.
A
It
Sphinx
doesn't
has
seem
showed up
angry.
at the train station. Nope, not having that.
None of that. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, as that is. It does seem to be curious about Nigel, who peeked at it in the astral, but then didn't stick around to play.
Well,
she
I'll
likes
think
you.
at it. Well, the offer wasn't made to me.
It's because you left.
Is it being extended now?
Why, yes, it is.
What are the stakes?
If you answer my question, you may ask a question and I'll answer yours.
And if I fail?
Well, nothing.
Very well.
What is full of holes but still holds water?
A sponge.
What is your question?
May I have your name?
Oh, you are a thing, aren't you? Well, at my new home, they called me Chloe. But that's not the name I used to have. Would you like the name I used to have?
I would be interested to hear it if you're willing to share.
They used to call me Mage.
Could you put that in the chat for me real quick, just so I get the spelling?
Yes, I will. Darn you smart players asking for very, very useful things.
Got it. All right. Well, I will thank her graciously. And I will.
She literally winks at you and then takes flight. And in all truth, it is a sight to see. It is majestic and powerful, and anybody with any sense of smart has an air of that could be dangerous. But it fairly gracefully flies off in the direction of the zoo, by the way.
So apparently she doesn't have a problem being there.
Actually, you know how cats think that you think it's my pet, my cat, and cats think that you're minions? She's pretty sure that she has worshippers. They come and they feed her. She doesn't have to hunt. She basically has people coming in and, in her mind, worshiping her. They came to see her. She can come and go as she pleases simply because they really can't stop her. So, yeah, she doesn't actually have a problem with being where she's at. It's weird and new to her.
If cats could text you back, they wouldn't.
There you go.
Oh, Bastwood, she's so needy. Jareth
would insist on regular updates of where we are, though.
Yes, but he would never text us back. Bast would, because she's so needy.
Every time I say that around cat owners, they all want to argue about it.
They do, but the truth is that if you died in your home, the dog would sit there and basically starve to death pining for you. The cat would eat you.
Oh yeah, totally.
I like that about cats. They're practical.
The Sphinx is, to some degree, a cat. And it is a cat that is, as far as the cat realizes, the Sphinx, they're worshipping it.
I mean, why wouldn't they? It's got wings, it can fly.
It wings and flies. They bring it. Look, they bring it food. They do what it wants because they're not really sure what else to do but give it what it wants, right? And it has people who come to it. So, yeah, it's a thing.
But yeah, so. Well, I'm not going to share the name voluntarily.
Will allow you to. Now you suddenly are like, wait a minute, there's a Sphinx flying off.
Jesus! What kind of I swear?
So
to Nigel, I will say, what did it say to you?
She asked me to play.
Must have been really eager to play with you.
Apparently she was confused because I didn't wait around.
We all know that's a very cat-like thing. You gonna tell him anything else?
Like I said, I'm not going to volunteer the name, just openly.
Okay.
I know to be polite, I will keep that secret.
Okay. So you guys get on the train, and it's a train. It makes other stops. People get on and off. You guys are on there for quite a while. You guys have a sleeper cabin. It's cramped, but you guys have a space, and it's a semi-private space then, because at least it's only you guys. Do you want to wander around the train, get to know people, or just stay to yourselves?
Well, before we get on, I want to, looking for anything specific, I'm just going to fawn over the engine a little bit while it's visible because, engineer. Also, player is a huge train guy.
There's a train attendant that will happily chatter train stuff at you that I, as a GM, am not going to bother to try to do because I do not know that much about train engines. But I guarantee you that there's always somebody who's really into it too, who will be happy to tell you all the things you want to know and the things you already know.
I could sit and have a one-side, just back and forth conversation with myself, playing both sides of that for the rest of the session. I'm not going to do that, but yes, I could do that.
Yes, I believe that you could. I cannot, so we're going to pretend like that all happened and that you're very happy with it. Anybody else? Anything else?
Morgana, given we're on a train for about 3 days or something, Morgana will definitely socialise with other passengers.
Weymont will mostly sit and read his book.
Okay, Joel, aren't we all nerds? I mean, we're just gonna...
No comment. I plead the fifth.
I mean, look. I, a highly functioning but still very much autistic human who never catches social cues, can talk on and on about stuff that would make your head be just like, why? Shut up. No, I don't know how you make 1 and 1 equal 1 in theoretical math because nobody apparently wants to know that. One of my favorite math story jokes is I had this lady I was tutoring, and at the time she was like my mom's age and going back to school and college, and she did not pass math in high school, but I guess the teacher was a friend of the family, so he passed her anyhow, but she didn't actually. And so I was tutoring her through college algebra, and we got to I. For those of you who may not be math nerds, I is the square root of -1.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a real number. It's only used in equations. Okay?
Yes, I learned that in university when I was studying kinematics.
There you go. So she was like, but how do you know that? And I'm like, because that's what it is. But how do you know that? And I couldn't think of a way to explain it to her. So I'm like, the next time I come, I will think on this and I will come up with a way to get you to understand it. Okay? So the next time I saw her, I said, what's a unicorn? And she's like, why are you asking me weird questions? I'm like, but what's a unicorn? She goes, it's a horse with a horn on its head. Cool. Does it exist? She's like, no. So it's imaginary. Yeah. But you know what it is. Of course, everybody does. I is the unicorn of mathematics. It's imaginary, but we all know what it is.
Yes, the I stands for imaginary. Use your imagination.
I will tell you right now, I never thought of that, but that would have been good to add. But yes, so I think that that's hilarious that I is the unicorn of mathematics.
That's literally why they used I, is because it's the start for imaginary.
For imaginary.
Yes.
Which I never thought of that.
Number.
I equated it to unicorns. However, she did understand the concept after that. So there. But only math geeks even know that. So we're all geeks. It's fine. And maybe you guys are geeky enough that talking about theoretical math wouldn't make your head spin. But most people I've met have no interest in this whatsoever. Just saying.
But is the audience?
The audience thinks we're all crazy and that this is actually how tables work.
And they're not entirely wrong.
Well, no, I didn't say they were wrong. I just...
Completely random tangents. Yeah, that's entirely what gaming's about.
But yes, we are all nerds. Thank you very much. All right. So, on the train, saying to yourselves, going and meeting people, what are we doing?
Morgana is going to socialise.
Okay.
I'm mostly going to read my book.
In other news, water is wet.
People. Water is wet. Water is wet, and
actually,
August is like, nope, not peopling, not my problem.
To be fair, every time August runs into people, they're like trying to shoot him or punch him or whatever. So
yeah,
shoot him, punch him, or get him to make babies. It's a very weird life you have, August.
Yeah, and here's me just trying to keep myself to myself.
All right. So August is happily reading. Morgana, you meet a lot of really interesting people. at the beginning of the trip, they're definitely going to be more Northern Union. The more south you get, the more you pick up Confederate, Southern. So accents get very different in different regions. It might be, because Morgana, none of you have been to the U.S. at this point. So the vastness of it is a thing.
We can be on a train for several hours and still be in the same country.
Yep.
You're
You're gonna be
overestimating the British train system.
To be fair, it operated a lot more efficiency back before the 1900s. I mean,
Hashtag not wrong.
we are pre-nationalization.
The trains are actually probably not that bad at this point. They're probably pretty on their mark. I will say overall, it's a train ride. There's not much to see or do. Outside of the train, you guys finally get to your destination. It is both fun and interesting because Florida is different than anywhere else you've ever been, probably. All right. You guys have a little bit of time in Florida before you hit the boat. Trying to think, you're somewhere on the southern tip, and I'd have to look up a name of something that actually exists there. But it's very touristy. No Sphinxes, though. Sorry to ruin that for you.
Call it Key West, probably.
That's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure if it actually... Was it a thing at this point?
Well, I mean, the port would be.
Okay. So, yeah. So, you guys have the port at Key West, and again, it's very touristy. Don't be by yourself overall. Makes you a bigger target for, and the big thing is people pickpocketing. Like the hotel that you're staying at overnight will even warn you to be careful because pickpockets.
We're from London.
Oh, Morgana is totally like they're all talking about Morgana later in life. I once met this British, lady, because it's a story. So eventually you're a duchess or something like that. Because that's how stories go. It's like catching the fish, and it was 10 inches, and it was 2 foot, and then,
And then they made me their chief.
Oh no.
Yep.
I'm the sister of a cat of an earl, so I'm only 2 steps down from you.
But they don't know that. Most Americans that don't know how that ranking system works. So, like, you are like going to become the next Queen of England or something crazy.
I will sip my tea. Americans.
Oh, and everybody loves your accent, even though for you guys it's not an accent. All right. Anybody doing anything in Florida I should know about?
Avoiding the wild Florida man.
Avoiding,
because that's a fight we just don't want to run into.
Very true. Also alligators.
There are alligators.
And awakened alligators, I'm sure.
Oh, dude. I would love to do an awakened alligator. But I don't think you guys are going to go anywhere where I can put that reasonably.
I think we're mostly anti-swamp.
Prime real estate, right?
Come on. Think of do any of you guys read Marvel comics?
Yes.
There's an alternate
Yes.
dimension reality with a Loki gator and a Thor frog.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You guys need a Loki gator, an awakened Loki gator. You just do. It could be my gift to you. I'm a kind GM. Loving and kind. I gave one party a god baby. I could totally give you guys an awakened crocodile.
So we're not going to the swamps.
Well,
And we don't have Disney
Haters.
World.
haters, all of you.
I'm just pondering the concept of an alligator that uses illusion to trap targets in. They are ambush predators after all. But let's not go to the swamp.
All right, no swamp.
Because the setup was have to build a castle on the swamp, but Disney built it all the same just to show them.
You're
Just to
wrong.
say it's doable.
Disney's crazy.
We're all elves. We haven't got the vast tracts of land required to build those swamps.
So probably the big important thing for you guys is, other than meeting and realizing how vast the country is, that the cuisine changes dramatically, and you guys are now getting fruits that you probably Morgana may have had, but most of you might not have had, because it would be very expensive tropical things like pineapples and mangoes and stuff like that.
Can I just point out to the side, pineapples were considered a major status symbol in Victorian England.
They were. Oh, that's
People-
why it's why they're on beds, 4-poster
Yeah.
beds. I hate that, but it was a huge thing.
Pineapple houses.
In Florida, it's much easier to get. So whereas Morgana might have had pineapple, the rest of them probably have not.
You know, I am from a well-to-do family.
Oh, that's true. So you might have too.
You might have been at a dinner party when someone was showing off their pineapple.
It's true.
Yes. All right, so you two may have, but it would still be something very new, especially for like River and August. And I think Nigel's family wasn't poor, but I don't know that he would have, unless again somebody was showing it off at a party, which would have happened.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. Like we're a cosmopolitan group. We can associate with the poors.
Yeah.
Hi. Waves in the tours.
Otherwise, it's a relatively pleasant time. I need a perception awareness. Especially Lady Morgana. But everybody else?
Perception awareness.
I'm going to spend a karma on this. And roll real dice, because I can't figure out the roller.
Well, if the roller would be nicer, but
I
it's
rolled
not.
I rolled an 8. An 8.
Okay.
I got a 23.
Oh,
Goodness.
I got a 12.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just take my 8 and put it in the bin. Just because these guys know what they're talking about.
all right. Lady Morgana at some point moves away from the group, probably to go to the ladies' room, and does not notice. However, August will notice, and so will Nigel, that this street urchin accidentally bumped in, and you guys know exactly what that is. You totally see it as it pickpockets Lady Morgana, tries to steal her purse. Purse snatching.
I think Nigel should stick it to the floor.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
So August sees it and kind of looks at Nigel, and Nigel's just kind of nodding his head.
Yep.
Do you want
All
me
right,
to roll the
Nigel.
spell casting, or
Just so that we know if he has any chance of escaping. I doubt it. But he did pretty good on the purse snatching, being stealthy, but apparently not stealthy enough.
well, a 13 on the spell casting? I'm pretty sure that'll beat his spell defense.
It does.
Whilst Nigel is casting August will walk up to said lovable street starfish and suggest that he give that back.
All right. So he has to beat a 13 to get out and away?
No, that's me to beat his spell defense. I'm rolling the.
Okay. There you go.
So I need.
That's. Yep.
So I need.
Because.
This and this.
When caught, the very first thing you want to do is go away.
Morgana will continue about her business, oblivious to this matter, but glad she's wearing trousers rather than a skirt.
Oh, no, I did that wrong. I need these.
No D8s. You're banned from. I'm kidding.
Well, that's 2d8 actually.
Except you're banned from D8, so how are you rolling that? I'm kidding.
Well, it's not that big. I just rolled a 9.
Well, that's not too bad. He might have a chance at that. Because he has the strength out of it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Damn it, dice. He does not strength out of it. He looks at August and goes, she can have it back. Why can't I move?
I have no idea why you can't move. And
Well,
hold
if I
his
can
hand
move,
out.
I give it back, I promise. Please?
Magic,
No,
probably.
you give it back first.
I can't move. I can't give it back if I can't move.
Well, did he fall
He's
on
not
the?
terribly old.
Did he fall on the purse, or
And
did
he
he?
looks like he might cry. Yes, Nigel?
Did he fall on the purse, or did he just drop it?
Oh, he fell on. He fell on it because you tuck it away. You don't want people to see you have it. And now he's smushed on the ground and he can't get it out. It's smushed.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, while we're both standing over top of him, I'll release the effect.
All right. So,
And
sweet freedom.
I don't have to, but I'll kind of give a wave of the hand just so he sees a visible effect.
He has kind of the buggy eyes at you. You know the. Oh God, that's freaky. You're scary. Come on, if you've never had that happen, and at this point magic is still fairly new, that's some scary stuff.
Oh yeah, it took August a little while to get over the fact that all of a sudden he couldn't see and then he could.
Yeah. August feels his pain.
You know what
He
amuses
shoves
me?
the purse at you and mumbles some sort of sorry, don't kill me, and runs off.
You know what amuses me? The fact that I am the guy who is the out and out mage, and Nigel uses magic more than I do.
I don't know if that's necessarily
Nigel's
true. You've
pretending he's not a
spellcasted quite a bit. You
I'm
also
gonna
did
have
it.
to side with Weymont. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying that he does more. I'm saying we're probably about equal.
Okay. You guys didn't. Morgana had no real clue what was happening until I guess August gives Morgana back her purse.
Oh, oh
There
thank
you
you
go,
very,
honey.
thank you very much, she will say, faintly embarrassed about being pickpocketed.
Might want to just pop it somewhere a little safer, maybe.
This is just my small change purse, she will say, tucking it away.
Even so.
I figure Morgana knows to keep more money on her person tucked away, not in the purse.
Yes,
She seems like a with it enough human to know better. But still, it's nice to have it back.
Yes. It probably still contains what August would think of as quite a decent amount of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Lady
Morgana's small change is probably, I don't want to say frustratingly more money, but definitely more money than what August. Yeah. August would think I could keep that on my person type of money, whereas
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
like when I play her brother in the other game.
Uh-huh.
Basically, I was just like, yeah, we're going out gambling in the really not very nice areas of London, so I'll just take what, £50 with me,
He's
and
rich
you know,
with a capital R, possibly
yeah,
rolling that R a bit.
There's
yeah, and
definitely
it was
rolling
just like
going on.
everybody else was just like £50, and I'm like, yeah, what? That's small change, right? But he gets
Sure.
£377 a week.
Aristocrats have a lot of money. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They do.
Some might even say too much money.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah,
overall, it's good. You're good. It's okay.
Morgana entirely is making sure the group are all eating well in decent restaurants rather than, just of the sort of
Yeah.
thing our expense account can do, and covering the bills and not
Tipping
worrying
nicely.
about it.
Tipping nicely and all of that.
Oh, yes.
All right, you guys have a nice dinner after that. No major issues. Everything seems to be going swimmingly.
What day was that on, by the way? Or just to put it, how
So
many
you guys
days was it? What?
you were there on the 12th. So you left 13, 14, 15. So this is either late the 15 or on the 16th before you get on the boat.
Okay.
I put Sunday the 15th down. Oh, a pickpocket working on the Sabbath. Disgusting.
That really is. Shame on him. Terrible, terrible person.
Liverpool street starfish.
All right. And onward you go. You guys get on the boat. Now, here's the thing. Before we get on the boat, all three out of the four of you are not going to be questioned when you show up. You're not the first people who heard of it and found your own way rather than waiting for a boat, right? The problem is, Nigel's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
He can be my manservant.
Heard, it is a 4 Bujum only thing. So if it's only 4 Bujum, Nigel the human sticks out.
Well, just put a hat on him and call him a really short elf.
I mean, that's a viable solution. But I just want to know what your viable solution is, if that makes sense.
About it, Nigel. How do you feel about a big hat?
We're just basically pulling out the same plan for Spock in any of the Star Trek episodes where he was in the past.
It's reverse,
Sure.
Spock, because we're hiding your non-pointy ears.
I mean, if it was the 80s, we could give you a headband.
Well,
It's the 1880s.
I was gonna say technically it is the 80s, just the wrong 80s.
Fair enough. So, is it a hat? I just need to know.
I'm open to whatever we decide to go with.
I think a hat would be fine. It's fine.
I mean, can you get away with just saying you identify as an elf? I don't know. How does that work?
I'm afraid we haven't got into that era yet.
I don't know. He has been hanging around with us for long enough, so he might start thinking he's an elf.
I mean,
I don't
that's
know.
actually not impossible. But
That's not the craziest thing you've seen. All right, so a hat. Got
yes.
it. Strong breezes are not your friend.
It's just a very tight-fitting hat.
It depends on the hat, I was about to say.
Wait, I got it, because I picked up physician stuff. I'll do like a bandage wrap. We can still put the hat over top, but I can do the bandage wrap, and we can say that I'm recovering from a head injury, so that's why I can't take the bandages off.
That is a better idea than what first came to my mind the minute you said that.
I had an idea when you said that. That's terrible, but hilariously funny.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna. Yeah, I thought you were gonna stitch the hat to your head.
No! Why would I do that?
No. That your parents, after you went through the change, were so disgusted by it that they had your ears cut.
That could
was
be
kind
a
of
thing.
where I was going.
See,
But-
okay, see, you and I get each other. I'm just saying.
Morgana may have inquired as to, couldn't there be some sort of magical spell to disguise him? That would be helpful.
Yeah, but neither of us know illusion magic.
Oh.
See, we need a Loki alligator. Clearly.
Like
I offered one and you all said no.
Actually, I know illusion magic.
Okay, but do you know that type of illusion magic, and would you be able to sustain it that long?
What, the kind of physical illusion magic you mean?
Well, the type of illusion where you could specifically give me pointed ears and keep it going for several days.
Well, I mean, it says 3 times rank rounds, so I guess not.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to keep going and going and going.
Yeah,
Except
you would
for when
strain
you're, like,
yourself
alone in the
unconscious within, the first hour.
Yeah, you know. Again, there are worse plans.
I think a hat works, though.
So, no, I'm not saying not to use the hat. I'll put the bandages on underneath the hat.
Sure.
So that if the hat blows off, well, I'm recovering from a head injury, and the hat was, the hat is covering.
The hat, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So just to be clear, if they ask you to remove the hat, you're revealing another smaller hat underneath.
Exactly, yes. A hat on a hat. That is the plan.
What?
Just checking.
Hat on a hat's an awesome plan.
Hatception.
Stop judging.
Hatception.
Yeah, let's just... Okay, so you can have a top hat. Go on.
Well, that would create the illusion that I'm taller.
Yes. Yes, it would.
Just put you in heels.
What's your shoe size?
Heel boots for men is a thing.
True.
They were originally designed for cavalry.
Listen, you can put him in some heel boots and a bandage and a top hat. I think
Oh
it's a
yes,
great plan.
I will be the peak of fashion.
The peak is something, alright.
All right, so we have a plan. You guys get on the boat. At this point, you guys are on a boat because the boat knows where they're going, specifically to that island. Everybody else on there is super excited to go to this island. And it's literally all boojum. And they are all talking about how great this is going to be, and they're super excited about it. Much like that one young lady was, much like River is. What are you guys doing on the boat? And the boat ride's only like a day. It's at this point, it's not far.
How big is the boat that we're on?
So it's not like a fancy yacht, but size-wise, have you ever seen the 100-foot, 100-foot yachts? So size-wise, it's big enough that, and there's no like first class type of thing. Everybody's kind of in the same range, and so they can probably put 25 passengers, maybe 30. Does that sound
just
reasonable?
so
Not crazy.
just so I kind of have
Fair.
a general size. Yeah.
I don't know exactly how big this boat is, but I do know that when the awakened shark shows up, we'll need a bigger one.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we could do an awakened shark. Do we have stats on an awakened shark yet?
I can whip up stats quick, but not that quick.
There's one in Earth Dawn. I'm not sure it's been updated for 4th.
Basically, what we're saying is that I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Mwaha.
Yeah,
You guys totally need an awakened shark. Yeah, so it's about an 80-foot boat, and the shark's only 50, 60 foot long. And basically, whether you guys, you don't even have to roll for it because somebody's going to be pointing at that giant fin, going, that looks awfully big. Do you see that? And everyone, like 20 out of the, because you figure 25 passengers and then a crew of another 10 or so, you probably have 15, 20 people all staring off the side of the boat going, is that a problem? I think
that might be what we refer to as a problem. Yes.
It turns out it just wants to ask us questions.
that would have been Loki Croc. But you didn't Loki Croc. Oh, Brad, that's cute. Brad, you get extra XP too.
You post puppies in the chat.
I like puppies. I can't do anything with a hood because of the Papillon's ears, but I like puppies. And August, also you get extra. So far, pretty much everybody's getting extra this time. Just put it in the whole thing.
Really?
All right. Yeah, I think technically so far, Nigel, you're the only one who hasn't, but I have a strong feeling.
I'm Nigel. Chris is Weymont.
Right, Weymont. Weymont's the only one who hasn't, and I have a strong feeling about Weymont doing something. I really feel like that's a thing.
Okay. Well, I will endeavour to do.
I
something.
kind of like crossing over the art between the two of August and Morgana. I like the hammerhead ray feel, but I like the sharp spines and stuff on the other one. All right, so this thing is spinning around and getting closer.
Wait a second, are we actually doing this? Did I actually give you the idea for a mega shark?
For cookies too.
Well, that's how you get bonus experience. Assume you live to spend it.
GM, you have to survive. I had
that
one
we
girl
need
making werewolves with monocles, and that shit happened. The second.
Does that mean we need a Jason Statham to help us, deal with it?
Sorry, what was that about having something to help?
I was just saying, do we need Jason Statham to come and help us deal with this mega shark?
Yes.
A well-chiseled shark.
Shirtless, but yes. Jason Statham would be an awesome helper. But what are you guys doing? Because you don't have Jason Statham. You can have River.
Well, it's a good thing we're no longer on the train because this has gone off the rails.
I'd actually say it jumped the shark.
Feel better, Brett? I had a player who was going to derail my game, blah blah blah, making these jokes about it. Not bad, just making jokes, right? And so then there was a ghost train, and he literally got to derail the ghost train. I am nothing but trying to do what you guys want. That shark is getting closer, by the way. Circles are tightening.
I fancy Malay isn't going to be the answer to this.
Does the ship have a harpoon gun?
I would not think so.
I have an idea.
Woohoo! Ideas.
And it involves magic.
Excellent.
What? That's never the solution.
Imagine a mage spellcasting.
What do sharks eat? Everything, probably. But
Big fish.
Big fish. Right.
Oh my
So
god, are you going to use call fish?
Yes, Brad, I am. I am going to use call fish. I have found the one scenario ever that it will be useful in.
I
So for
told
any
you were gonna extra AP. I knew
for
it.
anyone not aware, Call Fish is a spell in Call of Cthulhu. It costs you sanity loss, and what happens? You have
That seems reasonable.
you have to go into a body of water, and a fish shows up, and that causes you to go insane. And I have a problem with that.
I will specify. Call fish does not do that, Brad. Call fish, it doesn't cost you sanity. You go into a body of water and lots of fish show up. It's a spell for fishing villages. It's specifically there because of that one fishing village.
No. The version that I looked at, it had sanity loss.
My God.
If it didn't have sanity loss, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. That makes, it's just the idea that you lose sanity of, oh my god, there's fish in the water, and you go into a crazy panic.
Have you met people who fish as a hobby? I'm just saying.
Yeah, the idea here is that I'm going to create an illusion of a very large fish somewhere else. It's a physical illusion, so the shark should get attracted to it.
Okay, well that's a good idea because it's sharks. In case you missed that, the other sharks are now showing up and starting to swim in the pattern.
Right. So yes, let's do that then.
Now, sharks.
Let's do that right now.
You want to do that right now? Okay.
Yes.
You don't want to hear about the other 3 sharks?
No, not particularly. They're big and fish.
Hey, you can thank Morgana for the other sharks because I can read, and it said very clearly that once the one finds the prey, it calls the other ones to help. You're welcome. Thanks.
Glad to help.
Dude, whose side are you on?
And you were complaining about me with the fake court.
You cast that spell right now. How good is it?
Give me a sec. I've got to cast spell casting. It's 2d10. It's my best skill. Come on, don't fail me now, d10s, please.
Fail. Please get ones. Please get ones. Ones.
I did not get ones.
Damn it. Okay, what'd you get?
I got 25.
Oh. Come on.
Bush.
There's no way his spell defense is going to beat that. Ooh.
Morgana will be, while this is going on, getting her rifle out, as is River, no doubt.
Yes, I bet you River is too. I bet you the problem you really have is getting River to not shoot at it while he's casting. Like, please don't. Let's see if this works. Maybe they'll go away.
Well, shooting at things in the water isn't particularly effective.
Right, okay, so I make a spellcasting test against target number 8, that's succeeded. If successful, the illusion is created and may have up to the magician's ranking components. I've got rank 4 in spellcasting. No, yes, 4 in spellcasting just now, so I can have 4 components. So I'm going to have 4 very big fish.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion?
Extra successes allow for 1 more component each. Did I get extra successes? Of course I did, because 8 versus 8, so that's an extra 2 successes. So it's an extra 2 big fish.
Okay, so my question is going to be, do you want it to be big fish, or is it only physical, or can you put aspects like it smells of blood? Or that they're thrashing to attract things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, what the smell of blood could be 1 component.
And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I will say sharks tend to go towards...
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Since you have such a high roll and you can add other components to this.
Yeah. So yeah, I will get the taste of blood. Now the good thing is that this particular spell, its illusions are silent, but that doesn't matter so much since they're underwater, and sharks, I don't think, do the sonar thing. So you know.
They kind of do, but also no. The smell of blood actually, as far as I understand, what most sharks overrides It's the smell of blood, and then there's thrashing that tends to attract them. And technically, what attracts them on boats is the metal because it messes with their one sense. But if there's blood over there, and apparently some very large fish, and it totally did not make its check because there's no way, or it's spell defenses. There's no way. So it starts to pull away from the boat, and the other three are following it as they head out. I'm assuming you cast it as far out as you can from the boat.
Maximum distance, yes. Enough time to give us time to, go away.
You guys hear some, hold on, everyone grab something as the boat goes into, like, as fast as it freaking can away from the sharks that are now heading towards the illusion. Because if I was driving a boat, that's what I would do. I'm going to go away from that. Everybody needs to make some sort of dex save, dexterity, or if you have acrobats or something that skill that would help you, as this is going to be kind of jolting as it quickly and
I was actually going to go offer and see if I can help get the engine underway because I have engineering stuff.
Yes, why don't you do that, and then everyone still has to make the other save. But that might help with their speed and getting away, because once the sharks get to the illusion and realize it's not food, the logical thing to do would be to go back to food.
Yes.
So tell me what you got to help out their engine crew.
I can make a dex save. I don't have any particular athletics or acrobatics or anything.
All right, we're going to do Brad's first, and then we'll do everybody else's, because his might make it so it's not as hard of a save for everybody.
Wise.
I think it's a very smart thing for Brad. Woo, field engineering, good job. All right. Anything else you want to try? But field engineering is perfectly valid, and good job.
I mean, that's probably the best one to use.
So you increase their speed. Yeah, you increase their speed, and it's not going to be as hard on the dex save. Everybody else and Brad, dex save.
Or if you have wound balance or anything that prevents knockdown, that would probably be relevant here.
Yeah, it would. I was going to say, Brad, you at least cannot fall over. You could get hurt because you fell and bumped your head or something that you can't fall off. Oh, Morgana?
Well, hey, if I bump my head, I already have the bandages to cover that.
Right.
I
Morgana,
got 1.
That three is what? You got a 1?
I'm dead.
You're not dead, but you do fall off the boat because you were near the rail casting the spell. Yes, Brad, you're good. 17, yeah. You're totally good. Morgana, I'm going to roll a d6. You're taking a little bit of damage and tumbling and possibly, bonking your elbow, but it's probably not going to be much. 2 points.
2 points.
Yep. You just basically bonk your knee or your elbow or twist your ankle a little. But I do need a perception now from Morgana and hold on. August, did I get yours? Oh yeah, you have
6.
Yeah, you're okay. Brad helped out. Sorry. You're okay. But I do need You're fine. You're perfect. I do need a perception from you two to see if you guys notice that Weymont fell overboard.
Perception or awareness?
Either one.
Right, okay. I will roll step 12 because it's better than just my perception then.
Yes, in all the chaos, did you notice that Weymont fell off the boat?
No, 3.
After he saved all of you, and Brad helped. Okay, so Brad, because of where you're at...
Today it's my D10s that are on fire.
Saved everyone, fell off the boat, nobody cared.
That's not true. So
it was a lovely funeral.
So Brad, so Nigel will know that somebody fell overboard because somebody's yelling something you happen to hear. That you don't know who it is. But
I'm probably on the back by the engine because I was doing that stuff, so I'll see them as we're driving past.
You might see him, and maybe, but yes, you definitely know that someone, if not exactly who, has fallen overboard. Let's see. I'm just trying to see what we got on the others. August, you're busy, I think, fawning over Morgana, who fell poorly, but
Clearly.
isn't too terrible. And I will say, Morgana, you do notice that he fell over. Nigel, can you swim? Or not Nigel, sorry. Weymont, can you swim? The other mage. Can you swim?
Well, that depends. What stat is it related to?
Strength.
Strength? Leave. Brad says strength. I think it's strength. That's strength. Give her
Terribly
a go.
well.
Morgana will raise the alarm.
Well, that's the wrong one.
That's a good idea.
Mage overboard.
I rolled a 4. A 4.
Weymont, you're taking on water, sir.
This is not good.
No. All right. So the alarm is raised, but the boat is trying to speed away because big old sharks. Is anybody doing anything, or are they just hoping that the other people...
The mega shark. Forgot about that. I'm going to die.
Shout. Morgana will shout for the crew.
You are awfully for it to care about, in all truth.
As long as I've got visibility on him, I'm assuming I do.
Yeah, I don't have any visibility. You can go to a window and find him.
Okay,
that would be nice.
Then I can throw a spell casting at him, and I'm going to try to gravitic draw and just draw him back to like the upper reaches of the boat.
Ooh! All right, what you got? Give me some numbers.
Let me get.
Yes, flashing, very good. You guys are hilarious.
Does a 10 beat your spell defense?
Ooh, now that's an interesting question.
I'm betting we could probably consider him harried at this point, which would lower his spell defense by 2.
Okay, if it lowers my spell defense by 2, right, then spell defense is your mystic defense, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, mystic defense.
Right, if it lowers it by 2, then you beat it by 1.
Okay. I was going to say, I can still throw Karma if I needed to, but... so that's fine. I just have to get the effect off. And then Gravitic Draw is going to be... here. Not a huge effect, it's a strength of 7, but I'm pretty sure that should be sufficient to, yank you out of the water to the wall. To the wall of the deck or whatever.
What is your strength, Weymont?
My strength is 11.
11. I'm going to say 1. You are not fighting the getting out of the water. So, yes. I'm going to say the 7.
I don't know that he could. He's got no leverage. He's in the middle of water.
Which is why I'm saying I'm pretty sure the 7 will work. So, Weymont, you are now on the side of the boat, on the outside, but on the side of the boat.
Oh, jeez.
There are people who grab at you and throw things at you so that they can haul you back up. Because that's what that's what you do. We try to get the person back up.
I'll drop the effect once somebody else has hands on him.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Weymont, who just saved everybody, has now been rescued. Good job.
Morgana will hand him a hit flask.
Weymont will take a swig from that hip flask, no doubt.
It may be something stronger than he expects.
He may not care.
All right. Since you guys have rescued Weymont, and Weymont did a very good job of distracting the fish, and Nigel helped out the crew, you guys all get away. Some of you are more emotionally damaged than others, but you do all get away.
I do have some of that emotional damage.
It's not Morgana for once.
Or August.
August. Poor August was blinded.
And shot. And slapped. And shot some more.
Right? Poor August is sitting over there being like, don't be a baby.
Oh, so you got a bit wet.
you jump in the water and you tell me that.
If Waymont's getting like that, Morgana's going to confiscate the hip flask.
No, I need it.
The rest of the day on the boat is fairly uneventful. You guys are thanked though, because they do realize that Weymont was, and they do know that Brad was helping in the engine room. So you guys are actually thanked by the crew and the
Good.
captain. Like the captain actually comes to say thank you, which is nice.
Yes, we like getting thanked for things.
Yeah,
We do.
good things.
So,
Yes,
Weymont,
you-
about what you were saying, complaining about how much I use magic.
You did use magic to pull me up out of the water.
I did. Would you
And
rather I
wasn't
hadn't?
complaining. I wasn't complaining. I was just noting it.
Duly noted. All right.
I mean, to be fair, I also did the field engineering on the engine, and that is not magic.
No, but
That
it
is
did
fair.
help. It took it down to just a simple 5 to not get, drowned.
And you couldn't even do that dice. That's it. You go in the dice box.
All right. When you get there, all of these excited people are even super more excited. One, because apparently there are giant fucking sharks. Those are bad. And then, but they were excited to come here anyways. And when you get there, it is all illusion. There are no humans in sight.
The Brad.
You see people actively doing things like building or moving crates, but everybody seems to be doing something. But they do like wave and like acknowledge that more people are here. And there seems to be some lady with a clipboard who's trying to get people to line up so that they can, find them places and things like that. It's really easy for you guys. I'm assuming you guys line up too. Or do you not?
I mean, whatever's going to be the least conspicuous.
Yeah, I mean, we probably should, right?
So you guys line up. So you can hear the people in most of the conversations before you get up there. So you guys will have an idea of what they're going to ask. And it's basically, where are you from? They do ask, like, how did you hear about us? Then they ask things like, what skills do you have? What do you want to learn to do? And whoever wants to be first can be first. It's,
Weymont will go
It's
first.
basic
He's
questions.
just happy to be on dry land.
By the time they get to you, they're like, oh, we heard that it was a very scary trip.
You're not wrong. It was.
But we need to know what you either want to learn how to do or what you know how to do so that we can help you be placed.
I'm a mage.
Oh, particular. Oh, are you the one who scared off the sharks?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, wow. And you see her put some sort of symbol by your name. What name did you give them? Did you give them your real name or just a name?
No. I'm gonna go with Lucius.
So there seem to be very, I don't want to say cooing at you, but cooing at you.
Oh.
And wanting to know if you have any other special abilities.
Well, let's see. I can do illusions. I can stun things at a distance. Create shields. You know, standard suite of spells.
Oh, we could use you so much. We're trying to start our own military. I yeah. And like she like circles your name and is just so impressed, and she's like, I'm gonna put you in, and she names a place and she points out how to get to it. And it's not the same place that most of the other people were sent. She seems to be sending you to a better place or more, you're the only one so far that's been sent there. How about that?
Huh. Okay.
But she seems to be highly impressed that you're such a skilled mage. All right. Who's next?
I would say that's skilled. But
Oh, they think you are.
thanks.
I
You
think the
scared
first
off the
place. I think the first place we need to send him is swimming lessons.
No kidding.
Do you say that out loud?
No, but I'll think it at him very loudly.
Cruel.
You are such
Somewhere-
an awful person. I hope you know that.
Somewhere in New York, the Sphinx falls over giggling.
Okay. How about you, Lady Morgana?
Um,
Same,
I'm
and
trying
then
to think
what
of
are?
I'm just trying to
Sorry?
think of what name Morgana. I'm just trying to think of what name Morgana is going to give. Because she won't be giving around.
No, I wouldn't figure.
Yeah,
I kind
it's
of don't
not,
figure.
not a good idea to give out your real name to this sort of thing.
No, terribly.
She'll probably go with something like Annabelle Montgomery or something of that ilk. And
Lucius Pendergast.
you're a mage. You're going to have a fancy name.
It's true. It's like tradition or something.
Yeah. All right. So-
She will say she's been trained to run a household. And
Is there other things you'd like to learn?
she will admit that she'd fenced at school and would like to learn more of that.
Okay. I mean, we'll try to do that, but we can only help her for. Well, I feel like you'd be a good greeter.
I would quite happily do that, yes.
Okay. And she makes some notes, and she sent you to the same place that she sent most people, which seems to be some sort of, until we put you where you're going to go, for sure, we are putting you in this place. But you're going to the same place most of them are going. All right. Nigel?
Alrighty, well, okay, this one will make Chris laugh. I will give them the name Thaddeus Wessington.
Oh my god.
All right, let us in.
Don't you do this.
So this was back when we were playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, and we were making different characters. There's the one of the characters you can get is the Imperial Agent, which is basically like a spy, and Chris, and he's like dangerously British is the character. I mean, just when you listen to the voice and everything, it is just super. They're just totally playing into it. And Chris said to go with the most British name I could think of, so I came up with the name Wessington.
That is British.
And I made him so that he looked like a butler.
All right. What do you say your skill set is?
Well, they've already seen I am a Galvanic Mage, so I have the ability to spellcast. I am also trained in engineering and mathematics, and
Uh, uh, like building, like helping build.
civil engineering, field engineering. I know how to craft magical devices to some extent. I have a little bit of physician training as well.
You are getting cooed at a lot. Those are all very useful skills. So she puts you in a different place too, but not the same place that Weymont got sent to. All right. So that leaves August.
Xavier Marshall.
Okay.
Wait, we were all choosing fancy names? I didn't get this memo.
We're a fancy.
Montgomery's kind of, I just put it into a name generator, and this is what came up.
It's a good way to do it. What are your skills?
Oh, I'm good with finance and law.
Okay. What
And
part of
durability.
finance? Durability. I can take a punch or a shot like no one.
Yeah, he's not mentioning that.
No, I know.
Okay.
Funnily enough.
Chivalry done professionally.
She wants to know what type of finance you know.
I used to be a loss adjuster.
Oh. That's really interesting. Is that something you want to keep doing, or are you looking to go into a new field?
Well, it's certainly something I can do for now.
And you get sent to the same place that Morgana was sent.
Used to be a loss adjuster. Occasionally had to go out into the field to make some deductions.
So, Weymont, when you get to where you were sent, and everybody seems happy and everybody seems fairly friendly. But it becomes very obvious that you were sent to something where it may not be military, but it's trying to be military.
I see.
Like, you see people working on, like, there's a courtyard and you can see them practicing, like, defense, offensive, military drills. You also notice that they all have, like, the same badge on their clothes, but their clothes don't totally match yet.
Right. So they don't really have like a uniform yet, essentially.
No, but they are building a small military.
They're a militia.
I don't know how I should feel about this.
But that's where you're sent. Nigel, you were sent, and it kind of looks like a fancy-ish hotel. When you get in there, you'll notice that there's a lot of, on the main floor, desks and people literally building blueprints and looking at images of obviously different parts of the island and seemingly trying to, where do you build? What do we build there? How do we build it? And you have people who are drafting and people who are planning, and when you come in, they have a lot of questions, and they also coo at you. And they basically find a room for you upstairs, and you're sharing a desk because they don't have enough desks, but they basically want you to help build buildings. And since you also mentioned physician, they're like, why don't you join the hospital team? So they want you to help design a hospital.
Okay.
Weymont, soon as sees you, they start, and then if you mention any of they're like, oh, you can do that? And like, they put you with what is apparently a division that they're trying to create of military mages. August and Lady Morgana, you guys are actually in what would be probably like a gen pop, for lack of a better word. It's people who do the building. It's people who take care of things. And when you get there, they kind of assign you guys rooms. And you're pulled aside, Lady Morgana, because they want you to shadow the lady who met you, because they could use another good greeter. And she had a good feeling about you, and she's really good at it. Like, if she has a good feeling, she kind of knows where people go. And for whatever reason, she thinks she'll be very good at this. August.
Yes.
They basically don't have a lot of need for loss and stuff as a thing, but as they are trying to start doing some exporting, they think maybe you could help with that. But they basically, you get the feeling that they're not totally sure where to put you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking for you to show some sort of interest in a direction. But if not, they seem to be putting you with the little group of people who are working on what can we export, how do we set the prices, the logistics of it, and all that.
That would certainly be interesting to Xavier, because, you know, obviously as August, he could have a look over the ledgers and see exactly what they're playing at.
Good. Yeah, all of you got, because of what you said, were put into things that they think will interest you. Like they did try very hard to put people in places. And again, everybody seems fairly happy. So you're shown, you get a room, and I will say that Lady Morgana and August, your rooms are shared rooms. Now, there's a lady in Lady Morgana's room. There's a gentleman in August's room.
Okay.
You're not put in the same room because they don't know that you guys know each other.
No.
But
Fair.
each have a roommate. There's some of the rooms that actually have 3 people while they're still trying to find and build homes for everybody. And basically, you're told that you're being put on the wait list. Unfortunately for both of you, since they think that you are single individuals, you're farther down the wait list than families are to get homes. But they are building homes as fast as they can.
Well, realistically, we probably don't want to get too high up the wait list. It would just disrupt things when we disappear.
Yes, but you will notice that the reason that you're put farther on the wait list is simply because people with families get preferential treatment on
Priority.
it.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is we've all been split up.
Well, mostly, yes.
We can do
But-
more damage this way.
You gotta have options. River would get sent. Oh, that's true. River would be sent with Weymont, actually, but in a different division. She's going to be sent with, well, yeah, where the guns are. She's going to be what they're working on as basically an infantry, whereas Weymont is going to be in a specialized kind of Holy Knights of the Grail type of thing, but their version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's put into a magic user.
It'd probably be more Order of Britannia Victorious, but their version of that.
Okay. Yes, there you go. Good name, sorry. And like I said, so she would be put more with an infantry type of thing. He's put there. And all of you have access now to a lot of stuff. It's just a matter of what do you want to do with it? Where do you start looking? What questions do you start asking? And you may need a minute to think about that. That's okay.
Well, who has the best access to the list of people that are coming in?
Would probably be Morgana if she's being set to shadow the woman who's greeting everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. It would definitely be.
I might be able to find something depending on what records I can get my mitts on.
And Morgana will inquire to the Lady Greeter in quiet moments about tracking down a family friend who she knew had come to the island.
And you know someone who's already here. That's wonderful. We really like it when people have a chance to, catch back up. It makes them feel better to know that they're happy too. Do you know his name or what he was looking for in life?
His name is Edward. He was a snark. I don't know him personally. His mother and my mother are friends, so I'd heard about this.
Mothers worry.
They do.
But he was
And I had promised to make sure that he would check in. We do have male boats, don't we?
Young people never think about checking with their mothers. So she is willing to help you. If you know what he's interested in, she says she can find him faster, because then she'll know what section to look in. Otherwise, she'll have to track down, like, if you know when he got here, that would help her track it down easier too.
I will work on that because we've got some ideas of when he travelled out, don't we? And
this place is not tiny at this point.
yeah,
They're still building, but there's probably a couple, 3,000, 4,000 people here. She absolutely will help you find the family friend. You do not want the kiwi. You just want it because I'm eating it, but we have tried this and you don't care for kiwi. Sorry. I like kiwi, but she does not. She'll take it and then she'll spit it out, and then I got to pick it up because she's a jerk.
Green kiwi or golden kiwi?
Golden, I got the yellow ones because they're better.
Oh, yeah, they're the best.
You can kind of give her an idea of when he would have got here.
Yeah.
And in all truth, he wouldn't have gotten here too much before you guys got here. So that helps out so she doesn't have to go as far back. She tells you that he is in the building department. He's helping build houses right now. He can even give you a general area of the island that he's working at. Or the hotel isn't quite the right word, but barracks isn't either for most of this. But it's closer to a hotel that most of you are living in, or a
dormitory?
Except for the two military ones. And there are things like Brad's hotel thing is a little fancier than your guys's. He's not at yours. He's at one that's closer to where they're building. But it's not far. I mean, the island is not quite as big as Cuba, but it's a fairly sizable island. But she'll even tell you, like, which stagecoach goes out that way. Team coach.
Excellent.
Everybody else? Anybody else?
Well,
I
until
will be
I'm
trying to see.
Yep, there's
Sorry, go
probably
ahead.
little Weymont can do aside from keep his kind of ear to the ground for something like that.
Mhm.
You know, so he'll be going along with whatever training they are doing, and it probably will be training. But there's,
It is.
But yeah, actually, on that note, can I tag any skills?
Absolutely. What skill would you like tagged?
Well, no, I'm asking you because they'll be training me something.
Right. You can easily tag your magic theory and your actual casting.
Right.
Your department's a little different than River's because they're not sure how to build it yet. They know it's a good idea, but they're still building the unit. So there's a lot of things like, what do you want to try?
Could I tag Astral Sight, for example?
Heck yeah.
And what about Avoid Blow?
Yep.
You might even be able to learn a spell if there's somebody else over there that knows magic.
True.
If there's a spell. And actually, unlike what you've seen in, like, England, to a certain degree, they're much more open about it. Much more, I can do these things. And they're actively sharing spells with each other. Because if you're going to be a military group together, you have to trust each other and. So if there's a particular spell you're interested in, I can see if somebody has it.
Leave that with me. I'll have to check the book.
That's fine. We can you can come up with the ideas by next game. What about you, Nigel? What are you up to?
Well, until I'm told otherwise, I don't think I'm going to have a lot of access to find our target, so I will mostly just be continuing to chip in on things.
Okay. Yeah, no, honestly, what you're seeing is they are actively building and trying to figure out, and they've had some problems with, okay, but that area is too, like, there's an area that's kind of swampy, and they're like, we can't build on, but we could use the land, and it would be a good, and they're trying to figure out ways to build on it where it's stable, and they're bouncing different ideas. The hospital, a lot of the planning is well, how big does it need to be?
Okay, well, I have the civil engineering stuff.
So they think you're a great help, and there's a lot of people who you could learn from here too. And again, everybody seems pretty happy. You'll notice that there are some people who are here who don't really seem to know anything. So you're thinking that they fell into the I'd like to learn, and they're basically apprenticing under people.
Pretty happy, yes. Most cults do.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying they're a cult, but
Yeah,
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I'm waiting for us to be told when the Kool-Aid is getting served.
August, anything you're doing?
I will have a look through their ledgers and stuff for dodgy stuff, and I guess make the odd suggestion.
So the couple of things that come up very quickly for you is they're really new at this.
Mm-hmm.
They're sure totally. Like apparently they don't have anybody who's done this, so they're kind of trying to figure it out. The other thing you'll notice is since they're not exporting yet, but they are importing a lot of wood, a lot of building supplies. They're importing food.
Mm-hmm.
So have a lot of expenses. I'm not even going to make you roll for this. That's a lot of expenses, but no income. Somebody is funding this.
Okay.
Okay, baby. Here, going under. There you go, little girl. Under the blanket. Silly baby. She wants me. She wants to cuddle, but she wants under the blanket while she cuddles. Babies. All right. So you don't know where the money's coming from, but somehow, some way, someone is pumping money into it because this is not making any money.
Anything, yeah.
And I mean, it's bad enough that it's very obvious that one, they even told you that they're just starting to try to figure out the export thing. But you see building and stuff happening. You see bills for it. Somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Morgana, you can pretty easily the next day or the day after take the afternoon and go find Edward. You could also tell the other people because you can find them.
Yeah, I will do that.
All right. So Morgana tells everybody that she knows where Edward is. That he's learning construction.
That was fast.
Well, if he's in the building group, I could probably track him down from my side.
Morgana will smile. Well, I'm working with the lady who greets everyone who comes to the island.
She basically just went back through her record notes until she found the name.
Useful.
And was like, oh, you're in building. I think he was over that way. Brad can double check and make sure that he didn't get moved to a different department or something. Brad, do you want to do like a perception and see if you can see him noted someplace on one of the ledgers of who's working where?
Yeah, so I could do awareness, I could do research. What do you think would be more appropriate for what we're looking to do here?
I think research, actually.
Okay. Which is fine, because that's 2d8s.
Because it will actually be less suspicious if you're researching and they're just like, oh, you're trying to figure out if we have the right people on the right crew. That makes sense.
17.
Ooh, yeah. So you know exactly which crew he's on, and he's not been there very long. And this was he didn't have skills, but he wanted to. Like you found his records, and they have. I wouldn't call it like crazy amount of records, but they have like what the name is, and nobody seems to check on it. But it's whatever name you gave them, where the skills that you said you had, and the skill if you wanted to work on that or work on something else. And then they have things like, is in this housing, is in this group, is a level 4 construction crew. Like he's at go dig trench, go carry things.
Oh, they're giving us levels now, are they?
Yeah, actually, that's probably one of the things you also notice is that basically there's like a ranking system of this guy knows what he's doing, has built houses before, says he has 5 years experience. He's running a crew, so he's like a rank 1 or rank 2, right? And then you'll see kind of knows some stuff, is brand new at it. And they have like a rank 1 through 5 or something like that.
Well, basically the same.
And
Like the initiate, novice, journeyman. That's all that comes from real world terms for how those were structured. So,
but it does work. Like you got to learn how to do it. But you also, with that high level one, know exactly which, because they do have like, it's not quite a train because they don't have that built yet. But they have a couple steam coaches that basically make. And again, they're not going to really question you looking into it because if you're an engineer, surely you want to know how the roads are going to go if you're putting in a hospital.
mm-hmm.
So nobody's questioning any of what you're doing. That all seems like stuff you might do. Woo! Practice flirting. Heck yeah. Sorry, Lady Morgana has typed that she's going to practice her flirting while she's at it. Heck yeah.
Out of curiosity, do they have plans to put in a railroad?
There seems to be some idea of putting in at least one that would do like a loop and maybe like an X through the middle. But they're having it. There's one getting all the stuff in to do it because the island doesn't have the resources to do that. They have to import it.
Mm-hmm.
2, that's an expensive import. And right now they're not sure that it's necessary. Like you can actually probably even sit in on a discussion about the necessity versus the cost versus, but if we plan it ahead for more people because we're still getting people, like honestly, I think that this is the type of thing that would actually attract Nigel a lot.
Well, mostly I'm interested because if they're planning on anything where they're going to do any sort of exports or anything like that, they would most likely need a railway to be able to carry the weight.
Right. Which is why you're literally giving the argument that they're doing. But you can actually, like I said, Nigel could get involved in the discussion. I honestly feel like he would be very happy in that type of discussion.
I mean, actually, that is one thing that I wanted to point out. It might be worth looking into the sorts of flora and fauna on this island.
Which you have a little bit better access to things like, well, we have these naturally. What if? Can we build? Would a farm do better, or should we look for more unique things at a higher price? It's the bulk versus like unique. Like I can sell 100 mangoes and get X, or I can sell 2 of these unique flower that are magic thingamabobs. Right?
I mean, yeah, there's that, but it's also like, is there anything dangerous on this island?
Now that's a question you gotta either ask some people or look deeper in, because that's not going to be the files that you have.
Well, I thought it might be a bit more in my wheelhouse since we're going with the military.
Oh, right, you're in the military. Yes, you would have access to that. I'm sorry, my bad. I gotta keep track of who's where, right? Okay, so yes, there seems to be a slight problem with some birds, and which is you wouldn't like you actually see things. They'll talk like one not a problem. You can kill it. It's when they're in a flock and they gang up and attack to kill one person. That's when they're dangerous. There's some sort of brightly colored parrot-like thing is the description you're getting. And then there's these small like ocelots size.
Sorry, Jim, but are you talking about dire parrots?
They don't know if that's the correct name, but that might be. They just know that they're big, they're colorful, and on their own, they might try to steal what you're eating, or they might attack small prey, but when they get into a flock, they are dangerous as heck. Like, apparently they will target a person and kill and eat them.
They will flock you up.
Yep, they will flock you up. I love that. Yes, they're ocelot size, which aren't terribly big cats, but apparently they also tend to do some sort of like pack pride behavior. And even on one-on-one, they're dangerous. But in a group, like, they're not totally sure which is worse. The dire parrot things or these ocelots type things. But both are bad. All right, who else has questions? Because at this point, I think you guys are going to start off with going and finding Edward next game. That sounds good.
Yeah, just Morgana will just be making friends.
Yes, I saw that. Morgana's totally making friends. All right, who else wants to look through their department or ask any general questions about this dock area and the people? And yes, Morgana's making lots and lots of friends with that 21.
I kind of want to get an idea of what all the building projects are they're working on, which should be, reasonable for me. If we're playing the hospital, I need to know what else is going to be around.
So,
just to try and get an idea of what exactly they're doing here. I mean, they're building a community, but they got to have something planned.
They're working on, like, apartments because how many people and there's only so much space on an island. So they're looking at multi-level housing ideas. That's a big thing for them right now is housing. Roads. Possibly the train. The hospital's a big thing. A school. They're working on a school. Those seem to be the big projects right now.
Is there any sort of pattern I can notice with the buildings or roads layout or anything like that?
Give me some Arcana check.
The thing I don't have the magic theory stuff.
Well, maybe you go poke Nigel and ask him, or not Weymont. Maybe you go poke Weymont and ask him to help.
All right. Well, I can do an eidetic memory and just kind of so I don't have to take any papers, but I can memorize what they look like, and then I can draw them. Then I can draw them out for him, and he can look for mystical stuff.
I think that's a fabulous idea. Try it.
Alrighty. So eidetic memory. Yeah, that one I can throw. So that's an 11.
Okay, that works.
So if I've got that memorized, then I'll find some point where I can catch up with Weymont, and I'll draw up the basic patterns of how things are structured.
Awesome. Weymont, you give Magic Theory while you're doing that August 12 on evidence analysis. The thing you notice with the 12 is that all the funds are coming in from like a source. Okay. One source is paying all these bills.
Is there a name attached to this one source, or is it just like funds in?
It's more like funds.
Yeah, that's.
But seems to be that it's a source that the funds are coming from, because you can kind of see where it's coming out of a bank, and you could
15
also.
on Magic Theory.
How much?
15.
15? 50 would be very different. 15. Yeah, there's a pattern to this. You may not know what the pattern means, but there does seem to be a pattern to where they're building stuff. You can think on it and try again.
I think a good idea would be to take a map of the place and maybe try and mark out the places where they're drawing things, and then try and draw several magic diagrams over it, see if any of them match.
Yep. Take a day or two and do that. That would be fine. Good thinking it through stuff. All right. Anybody else doing anything before you guys go to meet Edward?
Nope.
Okay. Any general questions about how the people are behaving? Anything like that? Other than Lady Morgana's flirting skills are going really well, and she's getting lots of attention. Lots of attention.
The
How
people
are the
all
people
seem. Sorry, go ahead.
How are the people in charge of things acting? Is there a ruling class?
Not so much a ruling class as you're a level, like the engineer types seem to be going, this is what we're going to build and where we build it. And one of the higher level engineers basically signs off on it, says, yes, that's where we should build this. And then they give it to the construction guy, and the highest level construction guy assigns it out. So there's a hierarchy, but it seems to be based on what you do and how good you get at it. I will even give you that you've met some people who didn't know how to do whatever, but are learning and are moving up. But it seems to be very ability based.
Are there different ropes attached to the different ranks? Because I'd sign up with those different ropes.
I think it would make sense that they have some sort of badge or something. That way you would know, like, who's my boss? I'm new here. That dude's my boss. Who's his boss? That dude. So I would think that they would have some sort of low-key badge that might have like a color code. So that like white's beginners or newbies, then you go to like yellow or something. I don't know.
We get rank pips.
Yellow, black, maybe. That sounds like a good one. White, yellow, orange, red, black.
As long as it's not red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, I'm probably good with that.
All right, we'll do that. What colors they are doesn't. Yeah. You have to come with it. It's fine.
Just try to avoid paranoia.
I will say this: since most of you are actually good at what you do, you guys probably move up out of newbie level really quick. And then they seem to have this, like, the higher ups decide if you're ready to move up. But lots of people will tell you that they've moved up, and they've only been here for a few weeks, a few months. Some of the people who've been here longer have learned more about the trade, and they've moved up. But other than that type of who's on first type of thing, there doesn't seem to be like a quote unquote cult leader that you have found
yet.
That technically is true. What were you going to say?
Oh, and I was going to ask you, you mentioned that the people all seem to be really happy while they're here. Do we notice any sort of emotional effects different from what our regular senses are?
No, you don't notice any like magical anything like that. It seems to be more focused on I like my job. I feel comfortable in this space being who I am. I mean, the thought would probably go to commune. But you're not finding any magical coercion. Anybody else? Okay. It is 1:55. I think if you guys are all in agreement, we start with you guys take one of the steam coaches out to where Edward's at.
Sounds reasonable.
Seems fair.
Awesome. You guys did so well today. You really did. So let's see. Everybody's getting extra, so we'll just put it in the whole thing. You guys on the job. You dealt with a shark. You spell that out. Nobody lied about their skill set, which I found interesting. I like it, but I found it interesting. I'm going to go with 700 AP because you guys did so good today. You guys feel like you did good too, don't you? I feel like you.
I mean, nobody died.
Woo!
Or got shot
I'm a
for
little-
that matter.
Woohoo!
I'm a little sad that the shark didn't eat anybody, not even part of the crew. Poor hungry sharks. Oh, I mean. And you dealt well with the Sphinx? Yeah, I feel like 700 is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They're awesome. Don't thank me. You guys are what makes things great. I am aware of this. All right. I hearts all of you. We're all good for the next game in 2 weeks?
Yep.
Should,
I believe
should
so.
be, yep.
And the schedule should be posted in the chat for reminders.
Leave it in. Because I know I got reminders for this one. So thank you for that, Brad. That's helpful. All right, guys. I'm out. Because I got to get ready. Because my bio youngest is in town. So I rented the little town's pool. So, because her birthday's Monday. So we're going to go to the pool.
Cool.
And not have shooting kids there. Best thing about Little Town. I can rent the pool.
Before I forget, how many tags could I have gotten on physician studying my book while we were traveling?
I fell up to 2. Is that reasonable? Do you feel like that's reasonable?
That's fine. I just wanted to double check it.
Maybe 3? Oh, if we do 3, you could rank it up first and second.
Well, no, I'm all right. So getting 2 tags would get me enough to go to rank 3 because I already have it at rank 2.
Yeah.
So no,
That seems fair.
2 is fair. So yep, that's totally fine.
Anybody else want something tagged?
Forgery.
Absolutely. We'll give you at least do you have any at all yet? Do you have the first point?
I've got it at 1, yeah. So.
All right. You 2 so you can move it up to 2.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Etiquette.
Anybody else?
Etiquette, because I've been socializing with lots of different sorts of people.
Etiquette? Heck yeah, you can get etiquette. What's your level right now?
Currently it's at 3, so, but I'm...
And you're doing a lot with the flirting and all the other stuff, so let's give you the 3. We'll move it up to 4 if you want.
Cool.
Can I take firearms?
Heck yeah. You're in a military group. They'll happily teach you how to use a firearm. Do you have any firearm yet?
I have 1 rank in it.
So we'll give you 2 so you can move it up to 2.
All right.
Who else? What else you guys want?
I think I'm good on everything else. I've just marked off the other skills that I've used.
Yeah, same.
I will.
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
And Chris, you guys should probably think of if there's a spell that you would like that you feel like you could have come in contact with, so I can see if somebody would have had that spell to teach you.
Sure. I'll take a look through the book for next time.
Yep. I'm just reminding you that it's a good idea. All right. Ollie Oxenfree?
I believe so. All right,
You
well, I
guys
will
are
go ahead
awesome.
and I'll sign off the
And I
stream.
am-
So thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.